Ladies and gentlemen, I'd ask you now to stand up and remove your hats for the singing of the national anthem by Davis Wallace from the Abbotsford School of Integrated Arts.
Good evening, football fans. Welcome inside BC Place. That was my all-time favorite song right there, sung by David Wallace. That means it's time to play some football. This is the AAA final, the Subway Bowl, the final game of high school football's 2018 season. And it all culminates here as it's Jake Elliott and the BC Lions quarterback with you, Travis Lulay on SportsCanada.TV and TSN 1040. Thanks for joining us here for the Subway Bowl. Travis, we talked a little bit about it in the previous game. Congratulations to the Vernon Panthers, who are the AA champions with a convincing win over Robert Bateman in the game before. But this game right here, New Westminster with that thrilling victory on the final play of the game last year with the 1-point victory over Terry Fox. They look to repeat their crown, but they're going up against the juggernaut and the Mount Doug Rams, who have won 4 out of the last 7 Subway Bowls, going for number 5 in 8 years here. They're going to have their hands full with the Rams tonight.
Yeah, this is an exciting matchup, as you mentioned. I've seen a lot of games in this building, and last year's AAA championship was exciting a finish as I've ever seen. Not sure we'll get that exact same level of excitement, but Mount Doug is obviously a very worthy opponent to come in and try to deny the repeat for these new West Hayaks.
You see the Hayaks will wear their whites with the black and orange trim chrome helmets, where the Rams in their blacks with the gold and purple as the captains out to center field here at BC Place for the opening coin toss. And that last year's Subway Bowl final, a real slobber knocker. It was kind of won and lost in the trenches in that game, where this one here this year, I think you're going to see a higher scoring affair, a lot of playmakers in this game, and really Mount Doug led by the twins in Gideon and Zarek Kremler, 2 really fun players to watch.
Yeah, I'm excited to see these guys play. I've heard and know a lot of the story of these guys. Obviously, I've done some work with this new West team over the year. I've worked with Kinsale Phillip in the offseason. He was championship quarterback a year ago. So just a really exciting matchup. If you could think of it up from the outside, you might pin these 2 teams down as teams you'd want to see, and here we are.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone predicted this final coming into this game, but here they are, 2 teams that have gone 3-0 through the playoffs and deservedly deserve to be here, really. Both teams playing their best football of the season. You mentioned Kinsale Phillip, a 3-year starter here at the high school level. Brox Comia, their star running back. Evan Noli, one of the best linemen, if not the best lineman in the province at the high school level. He'll be one to watch in 76 in white. Mark Townsend, the head coach of Mount Douglas. What a program he has put together over on the island, and has his team fully committed and bought into his way of life over there. And for Hanlalji, I mean, a community that is engaged behind this program like maybe no other. They really start at the minor level, and they all just kind of grow up being Hayaks, and when they get to the high school level, that's what it's all about in New Westminster, being a New Westminster Hayak and playing football.
Yeah, it's amazing to think how far this program's come in a relatively short period of time. A teammate of mine, Cody Husband, was part of the inaugural secondary teams at New West, and to think that now here they are in their second consecutive AAA championship, that's pretty exciting for that program and deserving of them being here.
Well, looks like the Hayaks will receive. Mount Doug will kick off here. And speaking of kicking for Mount Doug, how about it from Jackson Reed a week ago in that 31-28 victory over Vancouver College, a team that hadn't lost a regular season game all year in Van College, a team that missed the playoffs a year ago, had a fabulous season. Their only loss coming to a Lyndon, Washington team. But it came down to the leg of the grade 10 kicker Jackson Reed, who banged one through from 27 yards as time expired to give the Rams the victory. 31-28 the final on that one. New West have had a pretty easy time of it getting to this point. 34-16 over the number 1 overall seed Lower Tweedsmuir. And then 33-0 in a scoreline nobody saw coming in a rematch of last year's Subway Bowl. 33-0 over Terry Fox. And here we are, set to go in the AAA Subway Bowl from BC Place. Kick it off. Let's play some football as Reed drives it along the turf. Takes a big bounce at the 23. Picked up now by Planinsic as he makes a man miss at the 25 and then spun down at the 26-yard line. And that's where the Hayak offense will come out. Led by Kinsale Phillip, who missed a large portion of the season, 4 or 5 weeks due to a broken foot, and has come back. It's taken him a couple of games to get back to his regular self, but he is clicking on all cylinders now as Kinsale Phillip. And as good of a quarterback he is, he's probably more effective at his middle linebacker position on the defensive side of the football. But right now, he'll be at pivot here as he huddles up his Hayaks for this opening drive. To the line they will come. Just a single set in the backfield. 3 receivers in there, 1 in the slot, now motion across. As the Mount Doug line shifts, it's a handoff. It's Comia on a cutback, then got walloped. Oh my. Gideon Kremler laying some hat on the opening play of the game.
Talk about a quarterback playing linebacker. You got one on the other side of the ball as well, and that's just a huge hit. I love the tempo that New West comes out of the huddle with. A shift. Looked like they got a chance on the fly sweep here. They force a cutback, and Kremler just with the pursuit of the football and a big hit to stop a gain.
Face mask right into the numbers of Kamea. Here's a handoff on second down. Kamea sheds 1 tackle, but not the second, and he's dropped right at the line of scrimmage again. 0 yards gain there for one of the most explosive runners who got banged up a little bit in that semifinal, only played about 2.5 quarters of that game, did not finish it. They didn't need to play him as they were up big on Terry Fox and decided to rest number 5. Farhan saying early in the week, if the game was played on Tuesday or Wednesday, Brox would have played, so another few extra days for him to get even healthier. And he starts this one as Phillip. A throw, and Comia tried to one-hand it, and it falls incomplete. This is going to be a quick 3 and out here on the Hayaks.
Credit that Mount Doug defense. I tell you what, these first couple plays, if they're any indication of the game we're about to see, very physical in the trenches. You saw those first couple run stops, setting up a 3rd and long, incomplete, a 3 and out. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better start if you're this Mount Doug defense.
It's Jake Elliott, it's Travis Lulay with you here from the Subway Bowl at BC Place. Thanks for joining us on BCHighSchoolFootball.com and TSN 1040. As Taryn Birdie set to punt away, pressure comes, gets it away. Low kick will bounce at the 38. And Kremler will pick it up there. He's taken out of bounds. Ooh, close to a hit out of bounds there as they let that one go on Matthew Lalin.
Do have a flag down on the field. I don't know if that looked somewhere in the gunner range. If that's going to be a hold of some sort, we shall see on the return team.
Like a block in the back, and that's whistled down as Lee Breen, your head official for this Subway Bowl, as that flag dropped at the 42-yard line. And now the grade 12 star Gideon Kremler, who has won a Subway Bowl as a grade 9 quarterback, and the story goes, played the JV game as a grade 9 player, lost that JV championship game to New Westminster and Kinsale Phillip, took a game off, got some rest, came back out to play the varsity final as a grade 9er, and wins the title over Vancouver College. Just incredible back in 2015. That spelling a run of 3 in a row for Mount Doug in their run in Subway Bowl championships. As we'll back them up here to about the 22-yard line.
That's an unfortunate penalty. If you're Mount Doug, you get a 3 and out. You got great field position. I tell you what, penalties on returns will drive a coach crazy. Puts the offense in a tougher position, but here we go. We're outside of the 20.
Gideon Kremler in the shotgun, 3 in the backfield for him. And he'll fake the handoff. Option read, pitch. It's a loose football. Hayaks are on top of it at the 10-yard line. As I don't know if Gideon ever really located where Zarek was, his twin brother. And the pitch wasn't great. And the Hayaks take advantage of the turnover. Never really looked that ball into Zarek. Never put his eyes on his twin brother, and the pitch was high, and Zarek couldn't handle it.
It's too bad because the play had a chance, a nice option read. He flips the pitch out there off of the pitch man. It would have been one-on-one for twin brother Zarek on the option play there. As it is, first down, New West.
Quickly to the line, Kinsale Phillip on the quarterback keeper. Running left down to the 5, and good production there on first down. We'll pick up 5 yards. And it'll be, well, they can pick up a first down without getting into the end zone. So it's going to be about a 2nd and 4 here from the 5-yard line. So you don't see Kinsale run as much as he did last year, especially with the weapon Comia and Pleninsik in his backfield, but straight quarterback run on that one.
Yeah, a little different look from New West. They tried a couple runs to the running backs on that first series. Nothing doing. Here we get 6 yards on first down, so nice little wrinkle by that New West offense.
Hayeks like to come to the line and snap it quickly. There's Phillip. He'll keep it again. Kinsale Phillip to the goal line. No signal yet. Touchdown, Hayeks.
Yeah, New West just takes advantage of a short field and a turnover. We talk about this all the time in championship football is playing opportunistic, and that's exactly what you see here from New West. A couple of quarterback runs by Kinsale Phillip, just big physical downhill runs, lead blocker. You know, a lot of times that quarterback run gives you an extra chance because, as you see there, Brox Comia blocking up to the second level. Phillip just with the nose for the end zone finds a way.
North Graves will attempt the extra point here. As Comia, the holder, gets it down, and it's blocked. Never did get off, as it was Galbraith on the hold. But a nice job there from Mount Duck to get a paw up and knock that one down, as North Graves just couldn't quite get it off the ground in time. And we'll keep it on. It could be a big extra point miss there come the end of this game, as you'll watch it one more time here on SportsCanada.TV side. And it was Zarek Kremler busting through for the block. He is a playmaker, and talking with Coach Townsend earlier in the week, just Zarek Kremler, one of those guys that's finally starting to get some recognition, kind of been living in his brother Gideon's shadow, but just a guy that will do anything for his team to win and making it play on special teams right there.
As you said, you know, too often you see guys take a play off on, you know, you think the ball's just going through the uprights on the PAT, but Kremler not taking a play off, finds a gap in that New West front line, and, well, block, you said, could play into this game later on.
Well, squib kick here from North Graves, takes a big hop, now another, picked up at the 16, slipped down, and Mosky just couldn't get it going. He's another one of those playmakers for the Rams, but needs to check the footwear there as he tried to make a cut and just went down on his own volition at the 22. So after going 3 and out on their first drive, the Hayeks get a turnover. They punch it in courtesy of Kinsale Phillip. And they lead this one 6-0 after having the extra point blocked, as Mount Doug takes to the field for their second possession offensively. They only got to run one play, and it was a turnover on a pitch that ended up in a fumble. Gideon Kremler out of the shotgun. And fakes the handoff this time. He'll keep it himself. He's got a big hole up the middle and ripped down at the 40-yard line. But not after a huge chunk of yards there for the Rams quarterback, Gideon Kremler.
It's a really nice response by Gideon Kremler and this Mount Doug offense. You know, sometimes that first play happens. That's unfortunate. How are you going to respond? There's still a ton of football left to play. Looks like took a deep breath, put the ball in your playmaker's hand, and get downhill for a big chunk play on first down.
So the ball come loose at the end of that play. A little misdirection this time. And trying to get the edge, it's Sebastian Henson who's slammed down at the 45, but not after a 12-yard gain, and the Rams moving the ball down the field quickly now.
A nice bit of misdirection here. Really had this play set up nicely, had room to run off that left edge. It's well blocked by Mount Doug. And again, another big play for this Mount Doug offense, who has a little bit of life after turning the ball over on that first series.
That's really what they like to do. They like to run Kremler up the middle, and then they set that up with that outside run from Hansen, because everybody gears up for the quarterback run, and then Hansen sweeping around the edge, able to pick up good yardage as they pounded up in the inside this time was Zarek Kremler. Close to a gain of 5 as they'll come to the line quickly here. No huddle for the Rams. Ball down on the 40, just inside the left hash mark.
Both teams playing with great pace on offense.
Trip receivers to the high side. It's a quarterback keeper. Kremler following blockers all the way down to the 20-yard line. And I know the Hayeks have practiced and prepared for quarterback runs from Gideon Kremler all week long, but the kid is just so good, I don't know if you can stop him even when you're prepared for it.
No, he's one of those things. Is Mount Doug knows he's one of their best players. And again, quarterback runs often give you a chance to have an extra blocker in the attack. You got to find a way to contain. You're not going to stop a quarterback run entirely.
Tight end in motion across the formation. Kremler with one in the backfield. He'll pitch it this time. It's Mosky on the carry, following his block down to the 10. Inside the 10-yard line, down to the 9. It's another Rams first down.
Yeah, right now Mount Doug, all different types of plays they've got drawn up are schemed up really nicely. They've got blockers out in front. They have numbers wherever they're trying to run the football, and you're seeing big chunk runs right now. We got a lot of momentum for this Mount Doug offense. See if they can punch it in down tight in the red zone.
Gilbert able to take down Kremler. Here's another shotgun snap. The quarterback will keep it. Lowers the pads down to the 5, just inside it. And it'll be second and goal from there. And asking both coaches what kind of football game they expected here in the championship game. Both coaches wouldn't commit to what kind of game we would see, whether it be high scoring, low scoring. They just said they want to score more points than the other team at the end of the day.
No, championship football, if it's 2-0 or 52-50, you don't care as long as you're on the right side of that scoreboard.
Kremler faked it to Mosky. Here's Hansen on the sweep, trying to turn the corner. Hard collision there at the 2-yard line, out of the end zone. It'll be third and goal as the Hayeks bending but not quite breaking yet.
That's right. You string that play out wide. Really, ball carrier does a nice job here of finishing this run. This could have been a gain of 0 or a loss of 1, but he puts his head down and gets everything he can for a couple yards, setting up a third and goal down tight inside the 5.
Lanky, athletic runner,
2.
Sebastian Hansen. Kremler from the left hash mark, shotgun snap. He'll keep it himself, jukes a man, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Mount Douglas. And we're tied at 6. Both quarterbacks with a major.
Yeah.
And these two quarterbacks, sorry, Travis, I know you're a quarterback yourself, but Kinsale Phillip, Gideon Kremler have battled each other since grade 9. I mentioned that junior varsity game where they met in the final, and ever since then been going back and forth. Well, the story goes, J.C. Boyce, a quarterback camp over on the island, Gideon knew that Kinsale was going to come over for that. What did he do? He called up Kinsale, said, come stay at my house. And they spent the weekend together, talked nothing but football, hung out, went swimming, and became really good friends. And here they are now battling in the Subway Bowl final.
It's a pretty special moment to be in this game, but when you're playing against a respected competitor, somebody you have a relationship with, it makes it all that much more special. And I know, having been in this situation myself, you enjoy beating your buddies. So
Yeah,
they bring out the best in you, So that's it's exciting to see. And look, Gideon Kremler said, hey, I'm not going to be one up by Kinsale Phillip. Finishes off with a touchdown drive. And really that's a huge response by this Mount Doug team off of, turning the ball over on the first play is not always an easy thing to mentally overcome, but Mount Doug responded exactly how you'd hope they would.
Well, these two teams played about a month ago, November the 2nd in New West, and it was a last-second touchdown from Mount Doug that toppled New Westminster in that game. And Mount Douglas saying ever since that game, they've really started to prepare each week like they're going to play the Hayeks in the final and played their highest level of football. And as I said, coming into this game, both these teams, I don't think anyone expected this matchup in the final, but both these teams playing their best football when it matters most, and that's why they're here in this game.
No question. That's so much of what makes for a good postseason run is teams at peak play their best football late.
Snap,
oh,
look
this is
out.
dangerous.
And I think Mount Doug's on top of it. It was bobbled at the 23-yard line, and now uncover the pile. It's Mount Doug football. Glenn Rose coming out of the pile with it. It was just mishandled by Plenensic, and then tried to pick it up and run instead of falling on top of it.
We've seen Squib kicks from both these teams a couple of times already in this game, and this is what can happen. That ball bounces funny, and you don't get a clean handle on it. If your cover team is hustling downfield, give you a chance, and there you see Mount Doug capitalizing on the ball being on the turf and coming up with a huge turnover on teams.
Turnovers can cost you or win you a football game. Here's Reed on the carry, jet sweep. Trying to find the edge there. Good play out there, limits it to a yard gain as Galbraith.
Really nice job of contained by Galbraith right there. Just really patient, not getting upfield, not attacking when he needs to. He stayed outside in. The run comes to him, and he makes the play when he needs to on the edge.
Back pad flying loose there behind Sebastian Henson. As Joel comes in to help finish off that tackle. No gain on the play, 2nd and 10. As we saw New West score off a turnover, now Mount Doug trying to do the same after a long drive downfield offensively. As they blow play in here for a 2nd and 10 as Kremler gets the play from the sideline. Mount Doug, a very interesting team in that regard. They do not huddle up. All players stare to the sideline. They get the play call and then come right to the line of scrimmage. No huddle here for the Rams. Gideon Kremler will throw on 2nd and 10. Completion made to Zarek Kremler. And across the 15, down to the 12, 1st down Rams. And that was a bullet there from Gideon.
That was. Nice crisp throw, clean footwork, 1, 2, 3, balls out. Nice timing throw, receivers in the spot it needs to be, catches the ball, gets upfield. That's how you draw it up.
And that's what makes Mount Doug so dangerous, is that they're so effective running the ball that it really opens up their passing game, and Gideon Kremler can really spin the pigskin. Shotgun, he'll hand it off this time. It's Zarek Kremler, and he's wrapped up by Kinsale Phillip right near the line of scrimmage as the middle linebacker, along with Evan Noli, in the trenches making the play.
Well, it's two of New West's best football players trying to stop the bleeding a little bit. Mount Doug's kind of had their way early in that last drive. Big 1st down stop. You got to find a way to contain 1st downs if you hope to get stops.
And they've really kept the Hayeks off balance, throwing, running, inside, outside. You just don't know what's going to come from this Rams team on each and every snap. It'll be a throw this time. Pump fake. Look out wide. Open man. Completion made. Juke got the 5 down to the 4. And it'll be just shy of the 1st down as Joe Lucas with his first reception.
Really like the patience here by Kremler. He pump fakes and then looks downfield, and New West does a nice job. They don't bite the cheese. They back up. So Kremler's got to come back underneath. That's a disciplined play from the quarterback, but it sets up a 3rd and short down inside the 5-yard line.
Very short to go here. They'll see 2. It looks more like 1 from my vantage point here. Ball just shy of the 3-yard line. Now Doug knocking on the door. They lead 7-6. And looking for more. High snap. Got over the head of Kremler. He'll lose the football. It's still loose. Who's got it? No signal yet. I think Kremler got back on top of it at the 15-yard line.
Yeah, hard to tell if this was a high snap or if Kremler just wasn't ready. We'll see on the replay here. It was a little high, but Kremler would probably think he could handle that ball. It does a nice job.
Oh, it got kicked right back to him by Rathjen.
Yeah, fortunate there to be able to fall on top of the football.
And here we go. They will not go for it on 4th down. So a stop there for the Hayeks. Out comes the grade 10 kicker, Jackson Reed, who won the game on the final play a week ago against Vancouver College from 27 yards. This one comes from 32, just inside the right hash. Kick is up, plenty of leg, and no good. Well, Hayeks hold on defense, and the coaching staff likes that.
No question, and if you're Mount Doug, you got to be a little disappointed having a 3rd and 2 inside the 5-yard line and can't get the playoff to get it executed. If you're New West, you got to feel really good about getting a stop, particularly the way Mount Doug drove the ball down the field on that last possession. So
that is a big-time stand there for the Hayeks. They remain down a single. 7-6 your score, 4:14 to go here in this opening quarter. This is the AAA Championship, the Subway Bowl from BC Place. On BCHighSchoolFootball.com and TSN 1040, Jake Elliott, Travis Lulay with you. Kinsale Phillip under center this time for this snap. Quick handoff up the middle and goes for a gain of 2. There's a short run there for Michael Kingsley. And really, when you're preparing for a new Hayeks game and you're writing down stats, You have to write down about 4 different running backs because they spread the ball out in that backfield. Planinsik, Kingsley, Udo, you see back there. Kinsale Philp will run it. And then, of course, you got Brox Comia. And you just never know who they're going to hand the ball off to.
That keeps the defense on their field. They give a lot of misdirection looks. You got to prepare for a little bit of everything.
There's Comia with some fancy footwork in the hole, but only garners about another 1.5 yards, maybe 2, as Rams defense pretty stout on the interior. And I'll bring up a 3rd and 6 here for the Hayeks from the 24.
You've seen some nice contain by this Mount Douglas defense here early in the football game. A couple times, Comia with the ball in his hands being forced to cut the ball back inside to where all the pursuits coming and making plays, limiting damage on those runs.
Big play here for New West. Phillip will work in the shotgun, 3 receivers. Here's Comia across the formation. He'll take the handoff. Trying to turn the corner upfield. Does. Dives for the stick as he gets knocked out of bounds, but it looks like he stepped out, Travis, back at the 28-yard line as the official will mark him about 2 yards short. And I think Farhan Lalji and the Hayeks will have to punt here as they are too deep in their own zone to try and go for it at this juncture of a game on a 4th and 2.
Yeah, that was close. They did a nice job there. Grayson Planinsik, you see him out on the edge making that block, and Brox Comia just trying to turn the corner. Just quite can't keep his foot in bounds as he tries to dive for that first down pylon.
Taron Birdie back out to punt again here as he stands at his 15-yard line. 2 returners back here for the Rams standing at their 30. Birdie with a sidewinding kick will be played by Hansen, and a little malfunction at the junction there as both returners went after the football, and New West was downfield quickly to cover that one off and tackle Hansen immediately at the 32.
Yeah, nice kick, nice coverage. You're right, a little bit of miscommunication by the 2 return men right there. They're fortunate that ball didn't find its way to the turf, but
Arjun Ball, the gunner, downfield quickly and made contact before Hansen could ever get the motor going. But Hansen lucky just to hang on to that ball as he collided with Lucas as they are both trying to catch it. So now Mount Doug will take back to the field here from the 32-yard line, right hash mark, leading 7-6 as we work our way into the late stages of quarter 1. Here's Kremler on a shotgun snap. Rifles over the middle. He's picked off. An interception by the big man, Evan Noli.
Nice hands from the big man, Evan Noli. We talked about maybe the top lineman in the province, but this guy, he's playing a linebacker position on this play. See him get his hands up.
Get him in there at tight end, Travis. Look at the hands.
No question. And that ball's coming out.
And then he's looking for contact after the interception. You wanted to run somebody over.
Yeah, that ball's hot. Kremler's putting some steam on that ball, which you are when you're trying to fit in tight windows, but really nice job. Really good nose for the football by Noli right there. Had his eyes to the quarterback, just drifted into the zone, found himself in position to make the play, and even more impressive to squeeze
equipment
it.
Issue number 8, Mount Doug, off for 1 play. Number 8, equipment issue.
So I mentioned Sebastian Hansen had that back pad kind of flapping out of the back of his jersey. Official picking that up and forcing him off the field to get that situation rectified. So they'll be without one of their stars here for this 1st and 10 for New Westminster. Kinsale Phillip out of the shotgun. 3 receivers and a tight end in there. Phillip to keep. And he's stopped dead in his tracks. He'll lose about 6. Aiden Wold coming through and wrapping up. And Phillip just unable to get started there.
Yeah, just he makes an inside move, does Aiden Wold on the tackle there. It's a stretch play, so a lot of times that tackle's trying to reach outside, and the DN just takes a chance here, goes inside. If you do that, you have to be quick so you can maintain your contain assignment, which Aiden Wold did a great job of right there.
Here's Comia. He's tripped up. Can't even get back to the original line of scrimmage, and it's tough sledding inside on this Mount Doug defense right now. New West just hasn't really found any kind of rhythm up in the middle.
No, right now, this Mount Doug defensive line is finding a way to get penetration. And if you're getting into the backfield, you're making running lanes tough to non-existent for these ball carriers of New West. That's why you're seeing a 3rd and long situation upcoming for New West.
Planinsik will check in. Arjun Ball will check out. Kinsale Phillip will get the play from Farhan Lalji and enter the huddle here for the Hayeks. Ball spotted on the 30, just shy of the 35-yard line. Got to get down to the 28 for a first down. Flags before the snap here, and I think we had movement up front.
Like might have been the receiver, A.J. Chol.
And those are always costly penalties when your players on the perimeter are going offside.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 7, 5-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
Good eye, Travis. It was A.J. Chol on the offside. He'll head to the sideline. And now it becomes a 3rd and 18 here for the Hayaks.
Not a coach's favorite down and distance to design a play for.
Kinsale on the rollout, naked bootleg, looks downfield, rifles one. Completion made. They'll be short of the first down to the 27. Need to get to the 23. They'll be about 4 yards short here, but what a gun from Kinsale Phillip, throwing across his body to the far boundary, and then the footwork from Lulay to get a toe down. And possession.
Is a very skilled throw and catch right there. You see off the little play action, Kinsale Phillip moving to his left, puts his foot in the ground, squares his shoulders up, throws a strike to the sideline. Matthew Lulay on the comeback route really runs a nice route, goes up and gets that ball, keeps his foot down.
That's all that coaching you gave him in the offseason.
That's right. Oh, I'm not going to take credit for all of that.
They're going to go for it on 4th down. It's a pitch to Comia, looking for a block, gets one, stood up at the first down marker. I don't think he got it. Well short by about 2 yards. Plugging the hole there was Bunting.
Yeah, that 3rd down play by New West definitely sets up a 4th and manageable. You got to feel good about this. You put the ball in Brox Comia's hands. You got pulling pieces. But again, this Mount Doug defensive line so far, just no running lanes for this New West offense.
Well, I think at this stage of the game, both teams just trying to kind of figure out what's going to work against each other here. And as you know, Travis, halftime adjustments are always going to be huge. We still got another quarter to go before we get to that, but I think it's just really kind of a feeling out process right now to kind of try a few different things, see what's going to be successful, what's working, what's not working.
It's been a little choppy, couple turnovers, but that's big by Mount Doug to come up with that stop after turning the football over.
There's Eric Kremler on the pitch play. Will pick up close to 6 on 1st down. You like that kind of production if you're Mount Douglas. As they get out across the 30-yard line to the 32.
Got a little toss play here. Mount Doug offensive lineman Roman de Duhela looks like coming out front.
They line up quickly. They go quickly. It's another running play. Mosky wants a block on the edge. Gets one. He's across the 50 into Hayak territory. Down to the 47. A little taunting on Plininsik after that as well. Got to be careful. But it's a 1st down here for the Rams as they'll spawn it down on the 48-yard line. And it'll be a 1st and 10 here for Mount Douglas now after a nice run from Mosky.
Yeah, a couple plays in a row off the edge. This is a toss crack play. You got one of the slot receivers cracking down on a defensive end, giving them space to this field side edge. Another big play for this Mount Doug offense. And they're down across midfield with a little bit of life.
Again, no huddle. They get the play from the sideline. They line up on the left hash mark. Trip receivers to the high wide side. Hayak show blitz and movement up front. Somebody rocked back in their stance there, Travis. And that'll be a 5-yard penalty here on the Rams. They'll go backwards.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 50, replay, 1st down.
Looked like Evan Noley mugging up in there, showing a linebacker pressure look. Might have spooked one of those Mount Doug offensive linemen into flinching into stance.
Tell you what, that'd make me flinch if I saw Evan Noley coming in on a blitz.
That's fair.
He's got an interception. You'll see him play on the line or in his linebacker spot right now. As now Phillip brings the pressure, but it's a run the other way. It's Gideon Kremler pulling away. And trying to pull him down from behind is A.J. Chol, who saves a touchdown here for the Hayaks. But it's the quarterback star here for Mount Douglas, Gideon Kremler, with another big run.
Yeah, really just a nice job by A.J. Chol to hang on, because Gideon Kremler is coming downhill full head of steam, and he would have been gone if Chol didn't hang on with his right hand here, slow him up. And that's a nice job by Chol, too, not to use the horse collar technique right there, right? He pulled him close and wrapped him up.
DeGello with the key block there to spring Gideon through the hole. And that coming with 3 seconds to go in our opening quarter here. As it looks like we got a timeout down on the field. I'm not so sure. The water girl is out for Mount Doug, so timeout.
Timeout. First down. Clock will start on my signal.
So one more play to come here in this opening quarter. Ball is on the 19-yard line.
This is quarter time, end of the first quarter.
All right, so much for that. Quarter time here from BC Place. We'll be back with second quarter action. This is the 2018 Subway Bowl from BC Place on TSN 1040. All right, welcome back inside BC Place on BCHighSchoolFootball.com and TSN 1040. Jake Elliott, Travis Lulay with you. Start of the second quarter here in the AAA championship game. Good, entertaining opening 12 minutes here from BC Place. 7-6. Mount Doug leads it as they set up with a 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. It's a run play. And wrapped up right around the 11, thrown forward down to the 10. That was Zarek Kremler on the carry. As the Hayaks limit the gain to about 4. And I'll bring up 2nd and 6. Not much between these two teams in that opening 12 minutes, Travis.
No, we saw one, a little bit of sloppy. We mentioned it, a couple turnovers, a couple good responses so far. We're pretty even here through one.
There's Mosky now. He's ahead across the 10, down to about the 8, and stacked up there by Kinsale Phillip. And I'll bring up a 3rd and about 4.
I tell you what, you can feel the physicality of this game from the booth. These guys are really running hard downhill, and when the pursuit is coming on both defenses, they're laying hat.
Big play coming here on a 3rd and 4. Got to get to the 5 for a first down. It's a keeper here for Gideon Kremler. He's got the first down and stopped at the 1-yard line. But it'll be 1st and goal here for the Rams. As I remember now, the Hayaks were able to stop them last time down at the other end of the field when the Rams were in this position. We'll see if Mount Doug can punch it in this time. Again, they come quickly to the line. Kremler has a look to his right, pops in the mouth guard, has a look to his left, creeps up to the line of scrimmage, barking out signals. He'll go under center. And now quarterback keeper as he surges forward. And touchdown Rams into the end zone. Gideon Kremler.
You could see as Gideon Kremler crept up under center, Kinsale Phillip had an idea that might be coming. He mugged himself up there in the A gap, but as you see him there creeping in, but just good push by this Mount Doug offensive line, and Kremler finds his way across the stripe for another major.
Great camera work there by our crew, and just a matter of who gets the pads lower in that situation, Travis, and Mount Doug able to get the leverage to get Gideon into the end zone. Now 13-6 with an extra point attempt to come. And the Hayaks jump offside. Or did Mount Doug move on the line? It's a finger-pointing contest right now.
Everybody points at everybody.
Well, it looks like we're going backwards.
Prior to the snap, false start, kicking team, number 40, PAT will be repeated.
We'll redo the extra point. 5 yards back now as it'll be a 25-yard attempt. Up and good is the signal. So an 8-point lead now for Mount Doug, looking for their 5th championship in the last 8 years. Just an incredible job done from Mark Townsend. And I asked him, besides having great players, what has been his success? And he just said the kids buy into what his system, and they really preach, if you work hard, you're going to be rewarded. And his entire team, and I think the school, the community, everybody involved with this Mount Doug program believes that. And when you believe, great things can happen for you.
That belief, a little bit of confidence, it really goes a long way, especially at the amateur level. When these guys come into a system, if it's a school with a new program or hasn't had a lot of success, sometimes it's hard to get those kids to buy in. But once you've created that culture, now, and it's not saying it's easy to do it, but you oftentimes you get kids that come in with the right kind of mindset, the right kind of attitude. And if you get kids working hard, these young men working hard, it gives them the chance to really realize their full potential, and that's what you've seen in terms of championship football from Mount Doug.
And then the older guys teach the younger guys how to do it, and the legacy just continues on.
No question.
Ball teed up at the 40-yard line here for Jackson Reed to kick away to the Hayeks. He goes with the low line driver, skips off the turf, picked up cleanly at the 28. It's Plinincic with a cut at the 35, across the 40 to the 44-yard line. And the Hayeks will have good field position here to start this drive down 8 points early in this second quarter. And Farhan Lalji, Travis Lulay, really one of those coaches, I talked about this the last couple of weeks. You'll get certain coaches where they just say, we're going to play Terry Fox football and we're going to run it down your throat and down the middle. Farhan Lalji kind of takes a different approach. Tweedsmuir, he thought he could have an advantage on the inside, so he really pounded the ball on the inside. But then when it came to the game last week, Terry Fox strong on the inside, so they moved the ball and did different things, went into the shotgun, played down the perimeter, and really designed a game plan to beat their opponent rather than just doing what they want to do. Kinsale Phillip with a good run up the middle for close to 10.
And that's really important in coaching, is coaches
Being able
always
to
say
adapt.
this. No question. And Wally Bono has said this all the time. As a coach's job is to put players in position to make plays, and the player's job is to make the plays when they are there. And so if a coach can adapt and be able to see what a defense is trying to take away and has a faith in his players to be able to be multiple, all the better.
It's a 2nd and 1. It's Comia trying to follow a block, gets a good one, and gets ahead for about 5 and a first down here for New Westminster. And really when Kinsale Phillip went down with that broken foot, Farhan Lalji learned a lot about his football team and had to find a way to put players in maybe positions that they weren't comfortable with, but kind of found out a lot about his team without Phillip in there. And then when he came back, he was able to kind of slot guys in to positions where they were going to be the most successful. And that's why they're playing their best football of the season right now. It's a 1st and 10. And that's a false start, as double clutching on the snap there. Looked like Stephen Bowers, who did not play a week ago.
55, offense.
And just moved the football without snapping it. And that's another costly 5-yard penalty, and one of those ones that's just unforced error.
Yeah, no question. This is what you hope to avoid, especially when you got a couple good plays going. You got a little bit of momentum. Now you get backed up on first down through nothing that the defense did to stop you. That's something that you want to be able to try to avoid those situations. It's hard enough to get positive yards against a tough Mount Doug defense.
Clock moving, 9:15 to go here to halftime. It's a 1st and 15. It's a handoff to Comia, right up the gut, slashing through and picking up close to 9. On Comia's best run of the game so far, and good hole opened up on the interior.
Yeah, really nice job. Just a tight zone play downhill. We've seen Brox Comia trying to get a little bit of room on the edge. He did get that last first down, but prior to that, hadn't been a ton of room off tackle. This time between the tackles, a nice gash with a good running lane. Downhill on first down to make up for that penalty.
Good tackle by Dante Carbone as well. Here's Comia patiently, but a little too patient. And he's dropped for a loss there on that play. Again, it's Bertuzzi coming through.
The wide zone, stretch zone, outside run has really been tough sledding. You've just seen a lot of pursuit and a little bit of penetration. No running lanes for Comia when they've gone wide for the most part tonight.
A loss of a yard brings up a 3rd and 7. As Kinsale Phillip, on comes Northgraves as well. And a late substitution as Plinincic will check out, as in comes A.J. Chol late. They'll break the huddle, come to the line. Phillip will go out of the shotgun. Comia to his left. 3 receivers in. They snap quickly. Fake it over the middle. Where is it? It's incomplete. Lucas getting a hand in there to break that one up on Lulay. who is looking for a flag with nothing coming. As the timing may be just a little off there, Travis Lulay.
Yeah, this really looked like a nice defensive play. You fake a stretch zone on the edge. You got a throw in lane. Kinsale Phillip just trying to throw a runner's ball. But Lucas, as you said, in position to make that play. Lalim just not a lot of separation on that throw and catch. Ball's broken up, and now we're in a punting situation.
There's Birdie trying to pin him deep. It's low, and it's going to sail over everybody into the end zone for a touchback. As he didn't really get the pooch kick that he was looking for there, and the Mount Doug Rams will take the ball at the 20-yard line. Just watching that play from Lalim again, almost looked like he kind of broke off his route a little bit early, and as Phillip was trying to lead him, and Lalim just kind of stopped thinking there was going to be a flag for pass interference and kind of gave up on the play a little bit.
Yeah, you got to fight. You never want to put it in the officials' hands. You got to fight and just hope that you can put yourself in position to make that play.
And Matthew Lalim has been exceptional, especially last week in that semifinal, coming off the edge defensively, making plays. But he's been good at the wideout position as well, and as a guy that's really had to kind of fight for his spot this season. By all accounts, a little trouble in the classroom earlier and had to have a little discipline sent his way, but has really turned himself around in the class and now on the football field, getting much more playing time here down the stretch. Mosky on a good carry on first down, picking up close to 7.
Yeah, to your point, these are young people we're talking about.
Life lessons.
Yeah, there's no question, and you don't give up on this kid. And you know, Coach Lalgy's looked him right in the eye and said, "Look, this is what I need from you in the classroom and off the field for you to be the contributor you want to be on this team." And it really looks like he's responding.
And I love that out of a coach. You know, he's one of your best players, and you're not just going to play him because he's one of your best players. That doesn't send the right message to the rest of your team. And he said he really doesn't mess around with that. You're not going to perform in the classroom. You're not going to perform on the field.
Yeah, well, you got to be accountable. You got to be accountable to your teammates, to your coaches, to your players, and that's really the way it ought to be if you want to breed a winning culture.
Second and short. Mount Douglas, a first down. There's a good surge there from Muskie to pick up close to 5, and that'll move the sticks. And I would say Mount Doug's starting to have their way kind of in the trenches here a little bit, Travis. They're getting off the ball pretty good and opening up some holes for those running backs.
Yeah, really, the Mount Doug turnovers are the biggest things that slowed them down. This is an important defensive possession for New West to see if they can slow down this Mount Doug momentum.
First and 10 from the 35-yard line in between the hash marks. In the shotgun is Gideon Kremler. Cocks the leg. Sends a man across the formation. He'll hand it off to him. He's spun around by Planinsic and then driven back by a couple of more Hayaks on the scene. Noli in there along with Kampf.
Yeah, this again, Planinsic with this initial play to get upfield and force the cut inside. That's where the help is, back inside. A nice spin move there by Mosky, but he spins right into the teeth of the pursuit.
Well, Mosky taking a knee here on the field.
Injury timeout.
And it'll be an injury timeout here for Mount Douglas as we have 6:08 to go in this second quarter. It's 14-6 Mount Douglas over the defending champion New Westminster Hayaks, trying to repeat with the strength of their third-year starter Kinsale Phillip. And right now the concern for Sam Mosky, who is down, maybe looking like a little bit of cramping here. Travis trying to work out that calf a little bit.
Yeah, hard to say. A lot of times these championship games, there's a little bit of extra juices flowing.
How do you get dehydrated in December, though, Travis? That's concerning.
I tell you what, it's
I can get dehydrated, but
I tell you what, though, oftentimes when it's cold, it's not a natural response to just think you need to get your fluids in. But I tell you what, if you don't, those fluids are gone pretty quick, especially in a high-intensity football game, a championship setting like we're seeing tonight.
We'll see if they can get a banana or two and maybe some H2O in those engines on Sam Mosky down below. Ball on the 32-yard line here for the Rams, staring at a 2nd and 13 from the right hash mark. Trip receivers to the high wide side. 4 on the line here for the Hayaks. Kremler delivers. It's tipped and then incomplete. As Kremler put some zip on that one and went right through his receiver's hands.
Yeah, this is a classic kind of man concept where you got the inside slot receiver wanting a wide release fade. Oftentimes he naturally picks off the corner. You see that. Well, he might have got away with actually contacting the DB before the ball was there. but just missed the mark, and there was room to run if they had found that completion.
Well, this is where the Hayaks want them in 3rd and long here, 3rd and 13. Defense trying to get off the field here for New West. Long count here for Kremler. Takes the shotgun snap, 5-step drop. Good time in the pocket. Now escapes one man, looks downfield, lobs one up there. Got a man wide open. Brought in at the 35 down the sideline. 10 tackled down there. Almost took it to the house. Another touchdown saving tackle by Chol. But how about the play there from Gideon Kremler to buy some time and then flow one down the near sideline right on the money.
Yeah. The escapability of Gideon Kremler is what initially makes his play. See a really nice job on the scramble drill there by Joe Lucas, just leaking to some open space. Kremler throws a strike on the run up and over the defense. Like you said, A.J. Chol does everything he can just to preserve the touchdown from happening there, but that's a huge chunk play for this Mount Doug offense.
And that was a 3rd and 13 there on Mount Doug. And they connect for a huge gain all the way down to the 10-yard line. And anytime you go back at the end of a game, you look 4, 5, 6 key plays of the game. That might go down as one here. Kremler looking to throw for a touchdown. Got a wide open man. And touchdown Rams as Henson puts the spin on the ball after bringing that one in.
Yeah,
that looked easy. He was wide open.
Yeah, as you mentioned, that can really be disheartening to this New West team, and especially with Mount Doug finding a way to punch it in. It looked like a really similar play to what we saw a moment ago. I commented on the inside receiver going slot, the outside receiver running a slant. Nice read by Gideon Kremler to just see his receiver there. Looks like Sebastian Hansen just uncovered, just a bust on the back end of that New West defense. But you got to find him and throw him to score points.
Missed assignment. There's some lack of communication, I believe, from Chol and Planinsic there. Left one of the most dangerous players on this Rams team wide open in Sebastian Hansen. Reed for the extra point. And good. So 21-6 now for Mount Doug with 5:13 to go. And now Travis Lulay with New West down 15 points here. This becomes an important drive here heading towards halftime. Still over 5 minutes to go, but New West has got to get some sort of rhythm going here offensively.
Yeah, you're right. We've spoken on this a couple times tonight throughout these 2 games, but you're always searching for an opportunity to get the momentum back in your favor. You don't hold it the whole game, but you got to turn it. Right now, Mount Doug's got that momentum, particularly that 3rd and long conversion, finding a way to make that play and then punch it in on the next play. It's time for New West to buck up and respond and give themselves some good confidence before the half here.
November the 2nd, 34-28, the final for Mount Douglas in the victory over the Hayaks. But remember, no Kinsale Phillip, no Brox Camilla in that game. Kinsale coming back playing his first game after a lengthy injury, but really wasn't quite himself, and New West hung right in there. But both these teams have just continued to improve over the last month or so, and 2 best teams in the province getting after it here. It's a 15-point lead for Mount Doug as they're set to kick back here to the Hayaks. Along the turf it goes once again. Rolls into the hands of Taryn Birdie, who's still on his feet. Bounces to the outside. He's got blockers out in front. 50, 45, 40. Down the sideline he comes. Lalim throws one more block to the 10-5. Touchdown Hayaks!
You talk about a response from the New West offense. How about a special teams return? Just like that one play. And look at the sidelines. Look at the crowd. This is how the energy can be put right back into your side of the ball.
Taryn Birdie goes 75 yards for a house call, as I don't know how he stayed on his feet right there. And then got some key blocks down the sideline. Matthew Lalim springing him around the 15 to get into the end zone.
Just a great effort on this return by Taryn Birdie. This is the trade-off of a squib kick. If he picks the ball up clean, he's already picking the ball up in pretty good field position, gets the ball vertical upfield, stays on his feet. A lot of times you get wrapped up, a guy thinks, hey, they tackled me. Right there, Taryn Birdie with the extra effort to stay on his feet. Boom, he finds himself in open field and punches it in.
They're going to go for 2 here, Travis, as they hand off to Comia. And he can't get in. Great play and tackle there from Cole Bunting. But that got the Hayak Nation involved in this football game on the 75-yard kickoff return from Taryn Birdie. Game on here from BC Place. It's 21-12. And a little surprised New West went for 2 there, Travis. I think, maybe you kick the single there. You got to get a 2 at some point, but now you're still down 2 scores.
That's right. We mentioned the
extra point,
opening blocked extra point. It's already come into play. What ought to be a 1-score game right now. 2 touchdowns by New West, 3 touchdowns by Mount Doug. But as you mentioned, it's a 2-score game. You got to credit Mount Doug's defense right there. All the momentum. New West feeling really good about themselves, but Mount Doug buckled down and got a stop on a 2-point.
Well, Farhan Lalji always going to be aggressive when it comes to play calling, and just felt the momentum going his way there. Tried to go for 2, but maybe second-guessing himself on that decision to try and make it an 8-point game instead of a 7-point game. As now the Hayeks go with the squib kick. They let it roll all the way down inside the 20. Here comes a big hole for the Mount Douglas Rams. It's Henson to the 50, all the way down to the Hayek 45 as the Rams answer back with a big return.
This is great. This is great to see. Look at the energy on both sidelines. It's punch, counter punch right now. This is what you expect championship football to look like.
Man, oh man, maybe just onside kick the thing, because the return game has been prevalent here for both teams. They'll take the ball at the Hayek 45-yard line. 4:50 to go to halftime now. Mount Doug leading 21-12. As they need to get the chain set on the far side of the field. Coming up at halftime, we'll be joined by a special guest, Angus Reed. Will join us here on the broadcast on TSN 1040 and BCHighSchoolFootball.com. We'll look forward to a chat with Gus as Gideon Kremler puts in the mouth guard. Standing at his 45-yard line, takes the shotgun snap, pitches. Here's Mosky running left and busting through as Kinsale Phillip, dropping him for a 3-yard loss. Well, actually spun him down with a yard loss as Phillip drove him backwards, but forward progress to the 46.
Yeah, so far Mount Douglas has been really successful with these toss plays off the edge, having slot receivers crack outside in, getting their guys in space. But Kinsale Phillip just takes a great angle to the football right there, coming up with the stop behind the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 12. There's Kremler. Rifles complete at the 40. Hansen to the 35, stacked up there and driven down, but I think he's got enough for a first down.
Yeah, we've seen this a couple times from this Mount Doug offense, finding space on top of the slot receiver. Backers not walked all the way out. They got to respect the run game, and getting Kremler sees that, just throws that hitch. Receiver turns, gets upfield. Good for a big chunk play on an easy pitch and catch from quarterback to wideout.
We'll move the ball to the 35-yard line. It is a 1st and 10 here for Mount Douglas, just inside the right hash mark. Trying to march down here on the Hayeks, who dig in on the line of scrimmage. Kinsale Phillip shows blitz. Ball caught across the 20-yard line. Still on his feet, fighting to the 15. Hayeks trying to yank it free. Not sure if they did or not as they go down at the 16-yard line in a heap of humanity. As coming out of there with it was Dante Carbone. And a player injured back at the 39 here. I think that's Rathjen down on a knee. Just look at, oh, that ball did come loose. Oh, the Hayeks had it. Lalim yanked it free and just nobody could wrap their hands around it.
I tell you what, we've seen this a couple of times now where that slot receiver on the inside from Mount Doug widens, and he's trying to get in the way of the corner, but he's putting his hands on the New West corner before the snap of the ball. And Farhan Lalji, Coach Lalji, is not happy on the sidelines. I'm sure that's what he's telling the official, that he thinks that they're illegally blocking before he's catching the ball down the field. So we'll see if that gets called if Mount Doug continues to use that strategy.
Another thing to maybe watch on that offensive line for Mount Doug, as they really like to go low with their blocks. It's not an illegal block, Travis. I think it's maybe frowned upon a little bit, but they really like to cut down that defensive line with low blocks.
Yeah, no, there's a way to do it and do it safely, and it is coached, and it is, perfectly ethical within the game of football. So as long as it's being done correctly, and we actually, to the officials' credit, we've seen it. I've seen it called 3 times today already, and in the between the AA game and the earlier junior varsity game, we saw call and chop blocks. And when guys are unintentionally or intentionally doing it, when a guy is engaged, you can't go low with another guy, or that's going to get called. So you got to be one-on-one, and you got to do it in the box. to cleanly get those cut blocks.
It is Rathjen that was slow to get up. He'll walk off under his own power here with 3:40 to go to halftime. 21-12 here, Mount Doug leading. Ball down to the 15-yard line. We've got G. Roy Simon up in the booth too. Travis, you come to the broadcast, all of a sudden we got BC Line greats showing up in the broadcast booth here. G. Roy, Angus, who else is next? Who do you got coming up now?
I don't ask these guys. These guys are, I'm just riding their coattails.
Well, here we go, Mount Doug to the line. It's a 1st and 10 from the 15. And inside the left hash mark here for Gideon Kremler. And Mount Doug in those black jerseys with gold numbers and purple trim in there. Out of the shotgun for Kremler. He'll look to throw. Pump fake. Now looks deep into the end zone. And not sure he stayed in bounds. No, they'll say incomplete. Another well-thrown ball intended for Hansen, who caught it but couldn't get a toe in bounds, and it falls incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Looked like a similar play to what we saw the touchdown on a bit ago. Throwing to Sebastian Hansen up the sideline.
Oh, he just couldn't get the foot. I don't know. Looked like the left gluteus maximus might have hit turf inbounds there, Travis.
Yeah, did that ball come out with A.J. Chol?
You tell me, G. Roy Simon, is that a catch? Of course the wide receiver is going to say it's a catch.
I think that ball came. A.J. Chol did a nice job getting his hand up there between the ball and the arms.
2nd and 10 now for Mount Doug. 3.5 to go to halftime. Fake the handoff. Look over the middle. Here comes pressure from the Hayeks. Kremler yanked down at the 25. Lulay with another play on defense. That is a big sack there.
That's big time. We've seen the escapability of Kremler and what that's allowed Mount Doug's offense to do at times already tonight. So for Lulay to be able to hang on, come up with a huge sack for a loss, not only is that a stop, but that backs them way up, makes this 3rd down really tough if you're the Mount Doug offense.
Well, they connected on a 3rd and 13 for about 50 yards the last time they faced a 3rd and long. The other thing this does is maybe backs them up out of field goal range as well if they can't get any more yards here. Ball is on the 25. They'll set the formation with trip receivers to this near short side. One-on-one coverage out high on the wide side. Look out. Travis likes that matchup out there. Kremler loads. Can't fire yet. Here comes pressure from Nolly. Down the sideline. Completion made to the 9-yard line. It will be short of a 1st down, however, as he needs to get to the 5. But well within Jackson Reed field goal range now, as they'll put the ball down on the 9-yard line. Another improvisation here from Gideon Kremler.
Yeah, we just talked about it, what this allows this Mount Doug offense to do. It doesn't have to be perfectly drawn up if you've got a quarterback that can escape the pocket and find guys downfield. Now, the wideouts have to do a great job of finding space and coming back, and that time that's what we saw Mount Doug do. Obviously, with Gideon Kremler running around, I'm sure they practice these scramble drill situations often. We found guys pop open a couple times on those last few series to set up a 4th and manageable here.
Well, I think we might see a timeout come here for Mount Douglas and a decision to make on 4th down. And Coach Townsend will let the play clock run down to 1 and then call timeout here.
Charge timeout.
As we'll see what they want to do. It's a 4th and 4 on the 9-yard line. You're up 21-12 here, Travis Lulay. If you're Coach Townsend, what do you do?
I don't have to make this decision tonight. You can see both sides of it. I tell you what, with a 2-score lead and you got them pinned deep, I'm thinking hard about going for this.
Up 21-12. So a 9-point lead. A 3 makes it a 12-point lead. Still a 2-score game. Doesn't really change things all that much. And they're milling through the playbook here. Looks like they have a consensus. And it looks like they're going to huddle up the offense here on the Rams sideline. I think it was one of those that he got together with his coaching staff, Travis, and just said, what do you guys want to do here? And everybody said, let's go for it, Coach. He said, all right, and picked the play out of the book.
Yeah, that's a wise timeout in this situation. If you have any kind of a doubt about exactly what you want to do, go ahead and take a breather. You're not going to get those timeouts back in the second half. Take a chance to settle your team down, catch their breath, come up with your best 3rd and 4, 4th and 4 play, and let them play.
Here comes the Mount Doug offense. No work from the right hash mark. Play clock down to 5. Got to go quickly here. They get set. 2 on the play clock. Got to snap it. They do with 1. And now what do we got? I think timeout. Farhan Lulay
timeout.
and the Hayek says once they saw the Mount Doug
Charge
formation,
Mount Douglas.
they want to talk it over now.
I think Mount Doug actually called that timeout. Saw coach running down the sideline, signal timeout. He didn't like the way his guys were getting lined up late, didn't want to risk.
Now, I didn't think the same team could call back-to-back timeouts.
Well, now you've seen it.
I didn't think it could happen. Maybe I was wrong. I didn't think the same team could call back-to-back timeouts without running a snap. But obviously it can't.
Well, there doesn't seem to be
Either
any
that or none of the
repercussions.
officials know the rules down there, and
We'll have a chat.
I'm not positive, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Fair.
But they got the snap off with 1 second to go, so they would have got the play off without a penalty, but maybe he had a look at the Hayek defense and thought maybe that's not the play we want to run. And they'll reconfirm. Lots of time on the play clock now as it reads 25. They haven't blown it in yet. They'll come to the line of scrimmage. And here we go with Kremler out of the shotgun. Mosky, fake the pitch, roll out, look, man open, touchdown, Sebastian Henson.
We got a flag.
Flag down at the 16. Holding. The call on Mount Duck. And that is a 4th down play, so they will have to redo here, and this may change the decision. After the holding call here on Mount Douglas. Hayek's dodge a bullet.
Hayek's did. That was a really nice design by this Mount Doug coaching staff.
Number 76, offense. 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. Replay, 4th down.
Just an unfortunate penalty. We've seen him throw that off tackle, that toss, with some pretty good success so far in this first half. Now they fake the toss, rolls out. He's got a receiver open to the field side out, walking into the end zone for a touchdown, but that hold is going to back him up. We'll see how this changes strategy on this 4th down.
Olmstead, the guilty party. So ball back to the 25 now, Travis Lulay. And you're looking at a long field goal attempt here, but you're also looking at 4th and 20. So I don't think they want to line up and kick. Might as well roll the dice here and go for it on a 4th and 20. Empty backfield, 5 receivers in. Here's
he's got a receiver.
He's going to try and run for it, buying time. He's going to be wrapped up. Lulay with another play. Sacked him back at the 30-yard line. And you said he had a man open downfield. It looked like Kremler kind of had it in his mind. He was going to try and run that one himself.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, that's pretty good pressure by the New West defensive front. And you got a running quarterback, but if you can get him off his spot and get his eyes down, doesn't matter if the receiver's open if you can't see him, right? And so that's kind of what happened on that play. It looked like Sam Mosky, number 3, was running down the middle, nobody around him, but the pursuit, the pressure from that New West defense keeps that play in check.
Again, that Hayek defense bending but not breaking as they Mount Doug offense comes up empty. High snap for Phillip. He'll keep it himself and sidesteps a man before being tripped up. He'll lose a couple. I think at this juncture of the half, after Mount Doug has called 2 timeouts, Hayeks don't want to rush here, but don't want to waste any time either. But I think we'll be satisfied to get to the break, only down 9 here if that happens to be the case.
I tell you what, they're playing with tempo. They're playing with
Look out. As Comia and Phillip bobbled the snap, and Kinsale gets it back and gets up barking to his teammates on that missed handoff.
So now we might see New West milk this clock down on this 3rd down instead of trying to hurry up score tempo.
They just ran into each other. You don't normally see that from this New Westminster offense who practices all those misdirections and snaps and blocks and such an intricate offense that Farhan Lulay runs here with the Hayek program. But that time, Brooks Comia and Kinsale, 2 of their leaders, just collided with each other in the backfield.
Yeah, when you play fast just a little bit.
And now the Hayeks got a call timeout, Travis, says the play clock was down to 1. Phillip actually dropped his mouth guard on the turf and had to pick it up. He wasn't going to get the snap off on time. Good timeout there from the Hayeks head coach.
Yeah, the look down on that 1st and 2nd down of this possession, it really looked like New West was playing with a tempo, like they were going to try to put themselves in position to score. We saw them slow it down after that mishandled snap on 2nd down and loss of a yard. So we'll see how they treat this 3rd and 11 situation with 23 seconds left in the half.
I think you're probably going to see a pretty conservative play call here from the Hayeks. And just try and get to halftime. They may have to punt this ball away, as the Rams, I believe, do have 1 timeout left in the bank. As the Rams defense waits for the Hayek offense to come to the line of scrimmage. They do that now. 2 wideouts and a tight end. Here's Kinsale Phillip on the quarterback keeper. He's wrapped up. Still on his feet. Gets to the 25, no further. As time down to 13 seconds here. Do the Rams want to call timeout?
They did.
And they'll force the Hayeks to punt here with 13 seconds to go. And you got playmakers like Sebastian Hansen, Gideon Kremler. We'll put Joe Lucas back to return this punt. A kick return, a punt return, not out of the question here for Mount Douglas.
Final timeout
No.
for the half.
And never mind that. I mean, a lot of things can go wrong here, especially at the high school level. Long snap, getting a punt away. Always an adventure of the kicking game here in high school. And Taryn Birdie, the man who ran it back himself for a 75-yard kick return, will be the punter here for the Hayeks. High snap, got it down. Here's the kick, got it away, and it's a great kick here from Birdie. Angles it near sideline, brought in at the 26, and he'll step out of bounds just across the 40 with 3 seconds to go. Time for 1 play here for Gideon Kremler and Mount Douglas. And this is where you'll see New West just back off. Don't let anybody get in behind you here, and somebody needs to wrap up and make a tackle.
See if this Mount Doug offense has a gimmicky play for the end of half. I know teams practice these situations. We certainly have some unique end of half, end of game plays that if the game situation is the right one, we may use. Otherwise, you might just see a hard downhill run or kneel down to get into halftime.
Well, those can backfire on you as well.
They can. You got to be smart about when you use those
looks
things.
like Mount Douglas pretty happy just to take a knee and head for the locker room here in the championship game. They'll take a 21-12 lead into the locker room here. Mount Douglas lead the Hayeks by 9, 21-12. We'll take a quick break here on BCHighSchoolFootball.com and TSN 1040. We'll come back with one of the BC Lion greats, Angus Reed, coming right up. Stick around. like a 3-minute interview. We'll do a minute break. We'll come back and do another 3-minute interview and then another minute break, something like that. All right, welcome back on TSN 1040, the Subway Bowl here from BC Place. Jake Elliott with you, now joined by longtime BC Lion, Angus Reed. Angus, I got to start off by saying I barely recognize you. You look like you could be playing like strong safety or something, not offensive line, man. You shed some weight.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Maybe visibly, but I wouldn't be able to run and cover the distance, strong safety. No, I made a conscious decision when I retired to try to get as healthy as I could. I mean, I was one of those guys that was bigger than I needed to be, bigger than I should have been to be an offensive lineman. I spent 20 years being 300 pounds, and I don't think my body wanted to be that big, and I wanted to see how healthy I could get, and I worked hard at it, and it feels good.
You're looking fantastic.
Thank you.
The boys down there at the Subway eating contest down there making me a little jealous. Well, why don't we start 21-12 here at Mount Douglas leading New Westminster. Just give me your general thoughts on that first half.
It's been entertaining. You know, there's been some big plays either way. There's been some turnovers, some mistakes that have happened, some plays that have been opportunistic off things that have happened. But so far, I mean, look, we're here we are, and I can't tell you who's going to win this game right now, and I think that's a good position to be in at halftime. It's there's enough talent on both sides and enough explosiveness that this should be a really fun, exciting second half.
Yeah, two equally matched teams going back and forth here at BC Place. It's been a fun one so far. You're a former high school football player here in BC as well, Vancouver College back in the day. Maybe you got a favorite high school memory or two that comes to mind?
Well, I lost in two of these. So,
okay, so not so much.
Well, we were talking earlier about how cool it is for these kids to be able to play in this stadium, and I thought back to when I was a kid. I got to watch the very first high school football championship that was ever played here. My brother Mark was a senior at Vancouver College in 1985. I would have been, I think, in grade 4. And that was the first time it was ever played in this stadium. And they lost to Kamloops, that Vancouver College team. And then I played in my grade 11 year, we lost to Mowat. My grade 12 year, we lost to Notre Dame. Then all my cousins lost from Vancouver College, all these things. So,
well, you got yourself a nephew that just won a AA title.
So finally we won. I think we have about 7 losses in my family, a lot of championship games. My nephew and Vernon, they just won in the AA. Couldn't be more proud of them. It's such a special thing to see high school football in BC Place. I try to come every single year, whether I know someone playing it or not. I love the energy, love the environment, and I'm really proud to have been a part of this.
Yeah, and for a lot of kids, this will be their biggest moment, and it could be their final game of their football careers. And to play in a setting like this, it's got to be the ultimate thrill.
It's the best. I mean, I can only remember when I first came out in grade 11 when we played in the championship. And, I mean, this big screen is so much better than what they had before, but to see your face in the big screen, to know that this is where the pros are playing, and you got 3,000-4,000 people cheering for you, and you're in the locker room where the pros get ready. It is great. I mean, high school sports is about creating lasting memories, giving them an experience, and this is one I think that you never forget. If you get the opportunity to play here, win or lose, this is something you'll cherish forever.
One more here for you, Angus, is we got G. Simon coming up. We got to give the GOAT his due and get him some minutes on air here. But I want to ask you got a new book out. I haven't had a chance to pick it up yet. Tell us about the new book and what's going on
Sure.
there.
It's called Thank You, Coach, Learning How to Live by Being Taught How to Play. It's the story of my 11 years with my positional coach, Dan DeRazio, my offensive line coach. It's really a story about the impact great coaching, great leadership, great mentorship can have on shaping someone's life. It may be a football story, but it's a life lessons book about everything I learned about how to live my life from him teaching me how to play this great sport.
Sounds like a perfect Christmas
You got
gift
it. You
me.
got it.
All right, Angus, appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the game. And G. Simon, the head coach of SFU, coming up next year. This is the Subway Bowl from BC Place on TSN 1040. All right, football fans, welcome back inside BC Place, the Subway Bowl here in 2018. It's Jake Elliott, and now joined by the head coach of Simon Fraser football, Tom Ford, and the greatest receiver all time in the Canadian Football League, G. Roy Simon. Fellas, thanks for joining us here in the broadcast.
Hey, I appreciate you having us.
G. Roy, let's why don't we start with you? We got a couple minutes before kickoff, and we'll probably bring our conversation into the third quarter, but obviously, New Westminster playing Tweedsmuir, your boy on that Panther team. Got to be a little disappointing watching this game without Jaden in it.
Yeah, you know, it's tough, but that's just the way football goes. You know, those guys, New West had a great game plan for Tweedsmuir. They, you know, took the air out of the ball, and they did a good job of keeping them off balance with running the inside and outside, and they took it to them. So they deserve to be in this championship game.
Tom, Simon Fraser, probably not the year that you're looking for, but
Sure.
in a season that you made some serious progress. The score line's much closer, and you're in a lot of football games and probably hitting the recruiting trail pretty hard here in the high school level. Have you identified, I know you probably got to be careful on what
Sure.
you say here, but some nice-looking athletes out on the field here for this
Yeah,
Subway Bowl.
Certainly two storied programs here in the province, and we're always going to check out the good programs. They're going to have the good players with winning mentality, and obviously these two teams are full of players just like that.
Some positions maybe you want to identify and improve on heading into next season?
Yeah, I think, for us, just improving the offensive line, being able to run the football a little bit better. We led the GNAC in passing this year, but we're also last in the league in rushing. So we want to really address those issues on the offensive line. And on the defensive side, I think in the secondary, we're definitely looking for some players. And can never have enough big guys up front on the defensive side as well.
G. Roy, obviously here in BC Place, and Wally Blano, a long-time fixture inside this building, and a guy that you spent a lot of years with. I'd be remiss if I didn't get a Wally story or a comment out of you before I let you go here. What did Wally mean to you and this organization here for the BC Lions?
You know, Wally was the one coach that really gave me an opportunity to take my game to the next level. He was the first coach to really believe in me. So he means everything to my career and my development as a man. He really helped me grow up, and I owe a ton to Wally.
And to that regard, Ed Hervey, another former receiver in this league, taking over those duties. Now the Lions in need of a new head coach. Can you give us any kind of an insight on maybe a short list of guys that may be interviewing with Mr. Hervey?
That's out of my ballpark. I don't mess with that. I give my suggestions and he rolls with that. But I can promise you he's gonna get a guy that's very qualified, a guy that's very organized and gonna coach these guys hard.
Can't blame me for trying to get a scoop out of you, G. Roy. Tom, that first half, a pretty entertaining one. We saw a couple of turnovers, a couple of explosive plays, a big kick return. What did you see in that first half? What are you expecting to hear in half number two?
Oh, I think this game is as advertised. Both teams really caught fire at the right time towards the end of the season. They had some early season shakes, and they're very similar teams in that respect. And I think what you're seeing is honestly the best two teams in AAA provincial football right here.
Yeah, two teams playing their best football at the right time of the season as well. And that was almost a perfectly executed onside kick there for North Grays, but a flag back down at the 40-yard line. As we speak with G. Roy Simon, the all-time CFL receiving leader and the head coach of Simon Fraser football, Tom Ford. Recruiting trail, I know a little dicey here. You got to be careful on what you say, but when you do that, what's the process trying to attract guys to come and play at Simon Fraser?
Well, I think we have the most unique situation in all of college football. I mean, we're the only NCAA school outside the U.S., and I think that works on both sides of the border. You get kids that are, high academic kids that want to get a meaningful degree, but, also love the game of football and can play at a high level. I think we're definitely doing a lot better job of just educating the area, especially here in BC, about Division II. It's kind of you don't play against Washington, you're NCAA, but you don't play against UW, and so I think educating them on what the Division II level football is and how the level of competition is very, very high, and we want to get to that upper level to play the teams in the Midwest in Texas. So I think if we can continue working here in BC, we can do that.
Second half action underway here from BC Place. One more for you, G. Roy. Where do you go from here? What's next for G. Roy Simon as far as your career goes?
Well, right now I'm the director of Canadian Scouting, and I'm just getting ready for the draft and get ready for next year. obviously, we're all you always want to take the next step as an executive in football. And I just keep working and do my job right now to the best of my ability.
Well, maybe I'll give you a follow-up. You're heading into the CFL draft. What's on the deck for BC Lions football? What do you guys want to identify at the draft?
It's always linemen. A lineman, you can't do anything without an offensive line, so we're always going to be looking for linemen, keeping depth there. Obviously, we're going to be looking for skill positions, and probably the linebackers and fullbacks. Guys that are the heart of your team. The guys that are going to do the dirty work and keep you playing tough football.
And you can't win without Canadians in the CFL, right?
Can't do it.
All right, guys, we appreciate you stopping by. Tom Ford, the head coach of SFU, and the all-time great G. Simon. Thanks for joining us, fellas. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thanks so much.
All right.
All right.
G. Simon, Tom Ford, as we're back underway here in third quarter action. Thanks, guys. All right, 21-12. Mount Douglas leading New Westminster. Mount Doug has the football here on the High Axe 41-yard line, as we'll have to locate Travis Lulay again. He's disappeared on me. We'll find him. As Mount Doug will come to the line of scrimmage, as they'll work from the right hash mark here at the High Axe 41. Snap to Kremler. He'll hand off to brother Zarek, who's picking his way through the Hayek defenders and still dragging defenders with him, refusing to go down as Lulay tried to yank it free. But the ball all the way down to the 23-yard line on a powerful run there from Zarek Kremler. That'll be a first down for Mount Doug, as he was just dragging 1, 2, 3 Hayeks with him. Galbraith in there. Noli couldn't knock him down. Impressive stuff there for Zarek Kremler. Travis Lulay joining us back in the broadcast booth there. Welcome back, Travis. How are the chicken wraps, man?
Not bad.
There we go. We got you.
I'm back.
No. We'll get Travis Lulay back up here in a minute. Finish off your chicken wrap, Travis. How about that? Fake handoff here for Gideon Kremler. He'll keep it himself. He's got another Mount Douglas first down. As Mount Doug on the move here to start quarter number 3. As the ball inside the 10-yard line down to the 9. As really Gideon Kremler has been the catalyst here for this Mount Doug offense all game long, Travis. Another impressive run.
Yeah, no question. Just, again, we saw it early in the first half, but just physical, decisive, downhill running. If you get a little bit of a lane, you're going to find positive chunks all night long, and that's what we're seeing on this drive, and particularly on that last play.
And really, as we know, in the game of football, coming out, start of a game, start of the second half, probably going to have a set 10, 15 scripted plays. And those opening drives of each half, always so crucial, and Mount Doug really executing here to start this second half.
Well, yeah, you hope as you're planning those and strategizing those plays, as you mentioned, that first 15, to set a bit of a tone and to get a look at whatever their response was. New West, they talked at halftime about ways to slow them down. So giving them multiple looks on the opening drive can give you an idea of how they may be trying to defend you and can kind of set the tone for a half. And so far, Mount Doug is executing exactly how they'd hope.
Been some really good play calling by Mark Townsend as well. He really looks like a football coach down there, doesn't he?
He sure does.
Ball inside the 10-yard line. It's a first and goal from the 8. Bunch formation, handoff up the middle. Zarek Kremler powering his way, refusing to go down, and it's a touchdown for the Rams. Impressive from Zarek Kremler as he just hammered it right up the gut, and the Hayeks couldn't bring him down.
Just some tough running, and I tell you what, your teammates love to see this. When you're in traffic and you just keep pushing forward and you find a way to get into the end zone, that just it really says a lot about the heart of a guy. And Zarek Kremler wanted to find a way to put that ball in the end zone and found his way to pay dirt.
Well, 27-12 now. Extra point from Reed is up and good. 28-12 now for Mount Doug. And the Hayeks got to respond now, as he can't get too far behind this high-powered offense of Mount Douglas.
Yeah, this is going to be critical for New West. Again, first punch in the second half thrown by Mount Doug. Extends the lead to 16 now. it's time for New West to find a way to buck up, come up with a big response, and put a little bit of that momentum back in their favor here in the second half.
Yeah, they gotta understand it's 16 points. Yeah, that's a lot of points, but it's still just 2 scores. And anytime you're within 2 scores in a football game, you're in a football game.
Yeah, without question. And there is a lot of football left to play. There's, still 10 minutes to play in the third quarter here, so we have more or less than a half of football to play. So plenty of time. It's not panic time, but the sense of urgency should be high on that New West sideline.
I want to make sure we get a shout out to our sponsors here for the Subway Bowl. Subway, obviously, our title sponsor. Skyline Athletics, Baden, Indigo, Baron Rings, Kahunaverse, and, of course, the mothership right here on TSN 1040, one of the title sponsors of the Subway Bowl each and every year. Reed with the low line drive kick once again. They've been going to that all game long. This is Taryn Birdie, who went for 75 earlier in the opening half. He won't do that on this one, just refusing to go down, however. And after the whistle yanked down, no flag comes in. But the Hayaks will have possession here, down 16 as the defending champs on the ropes a little bit in the second half now. And we'll see how they respond on their opening drive to start this second half. Big thank you to Angus Reed, G. Roy Simon, and Tom. Now a late flag comes flying in here. In the Mount Doug backfield. And is it too many men in the huddle? Illegal substitution? What do we got here, Travis?
I didn't see this. I just saw the flag come down.
Sportsmanlike conduct. Number 24, defense. 15-yard penalty.
Man, costly one there on the Rams. An unsportsmanlike penalty on Peter Primo.
First unsportsmanlike conduct towards disqualification.
And you only get 2 of those before you're ejected out of a high school football game, but that's a free 15 yards here for the Hayaks, and I'm sure that will not please the Rams head coach. Primo, but taking an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty before even the Hayaks snap the football.
Yeah, you don't want to give your opponent any kind of breathing room, and sometimes a penalty can be the play that breathes a little bit of life into the opponent.
Ball out to the 50. Let's see what kind of adjustments the Hayaks have made offensively. Kinsale Phillip to throw on first down. Looks over the middle. He's got a completion there. Sidestepping the man. Look out from behind. Is taken down is A.J. Chol, but Hayaks come out throwing, and Phillip on the mark to A.J. Chol for a good strike.
Yeah, again, we talked about halftime adjustment. We didn't see some of this intermediate drop back stuff. We didn't see much of this in the first half from New West. This is something they clearly saw. They wanted to find a way to take advantage of. Nice patience there by Kinsale Phillip to look downfield. Great pocket. Steps in, makes a throw on the strike there to A.J. Chol.
And then waited for his man to come open across the middle. That's a 20-yard pass and run. Here's Phillip to throw again on first down. Rifles one to the near sideline, and it's caught by Lulay, and then a late hit on Phillip after throwing the football, and this is going to be another 15 tacked on to the end of that catch.
Roughing the passer, defense.
That was Aiden Bertuzzi, I believe, 52, laying a shot on Phillip after he let go of the football. And that's really on vogue right now, is protecting those quarterbacks, Travis Lulay. You can't do that.
You can't do that. And I'm all about rules of protecting quarterbacks, right? And so really before this hit, this is a really nice pitch and catch, just a one-on-one. Matthew Lim running a really nice comeback route. Phillip throwing a strike on time to the sidelines. They make it look easy when they throw it in rhythm like that.
Good run down to the 5-yard line this time. As Hayek's coming out with some purpose here in the second half as well. I really think we're going to see like a heavyweight prize fight here in the second half, Travis. It's going to be punch, counter punch the rest of the way.
Well, I certainly hope so. We've been treated as some phenomenal finishes. We spoke on last year's AAA championship game, but even the 2016 AAA championship was exciting right down to the wire. We may be up for one of those tonight.
Shotgun snap. Phillip looks to throw. Time in the pocket. Now he's flushed out. Got to get rid of the football, and he does, but a flag down back at the 6-yard line as well. Not sure there was a receiver in the area as Phillip comes up limping a little bit, but did well just to get rid of the football, not take a sack. Incomplete, but was there a receiver in the vicinity is the question. I think this one's going against the Hayeks.
It looked like it may have been a hold. It was kind of called.
Illegal formation.
Oh.
Offense. Not enough men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty.
That's almost a better penalty to take than a hold. It's only a 5-yard penalty, but it will back them up.
Should add that still that's a really nice game management play by Kinsale Phillip to throw the football away there. If he doesn't do that, the penalty's probably declined, and it's 3rd down outside of the 10. So
now it's 2nd and 10 from the 10. To the line come the Hayaks. Comia to the left. Here's Phillip on a wide receiver screen. Completion to the 5. Joel bounces off a man.
Ball's out.
And knee was down. Let's see what they signal. They're going to signal Rams football. Joel took a hellacious hit from Eddie Shayla and jarred the ball free. I thought Joel's knee was down. Let's take a look at the replay. It's not going to matter, but let's watch it one more time here. Is the ball out before the knee? Oh, yeah, that's
no,
clearly
ball's out right away.
That is a wicked hit.
That's Gideon Kremler on the hit.
And that is a costly turnover there on the Hayaks, who were driving downfield and turned the ball over on the 2-yard line.
Had a nice play set up there. Wide receiver middle screen coming back inside. Had a couple of blocks. Ball would have been inside the 5 as we saw there, but Gideon Kremler just puts his hat and shoulder pads right on the football, jars it loose. Mount Doug ball.
That's a tough one there for the Hayaks as Kremler on the handoff up the middle. Across the 5 to the 7. Still on his feet again. No,
Ball's out.
Hayaks get it back.
Wow.
Lulay with the defensive play. He is an animal on the defensive side of the football.
Wow. What a play. I don't even know how this happened. I have to see the replay to see where he got this ball out. But
he just yanked it away. He's a ball hawk.
He did.
Man, oh, man.
Zarek Kremler, we talked about this on the last series. He scored the touchdown just fighting and clawing and scratching for extra yards. But this time, maybe one too many times trying to stay upright. Oh. Matthew Lulay with a huge play to swing the momentum back in New West's favor when they desperately needed it after just turning the ball over inside their 5.
A roller coaster ride here earlier in the 3rd quarter. It's Hayek football once again. Now what do we got? Another flag comes flying.
No, too many men.
And Comia off the field here. And this is just unlike the Hayaks. Some of these penalties they're taking, illegal formations and illegal substitutions, false starts. You don't normally see this out of this New West program, and it might be a case of the moment just being a little too much for him right now.
Yeah, sometimes these championship game settings, everything becomes a little bit elevated, and that includes some of your decision making and communication, and that could be a result of that sometimes is penalties and stuff you're not accustomed to seeing.
Ball is on the 17. They can pick up a 1st down without getting into the end zone. Phillip, the handoff up the middle, not much. They'll pick up 2. Will Kingsley, as they haven't used him much here tonight. And that's just a quick little counter trap. And I'll bring up 2nd and 15. I think they're going to have to go to the air at some point here while we see it on 2nd down. As we haven't really seen Brox Comia get off the way we normally do. And I mentioned him coming out of that semifinal game might not be 100% here tonight. Phillip going to look to do it with his legs. Now he looks to do it with his arms, and he's wrapped up and dropped at the 20. Cole Bunting with another play on defense. The sack on Phillip.
Yeah, pretty good protection here. And Phillip just didn't like whatever he saw downfield. Tries to get out of the pocket to his left. Scramble drill to his left. A good job by Pursuit just to wrap him up before he can get rid of the football or make a throw down the field, and sets up a 3rd and long. That's a really big defensive play by Mount Doug.
It's a 3rd and 18 from the 20-yard line here. And Phillip does have a very strong arm. He can really put some zip on it, and he may need to here on this play with 3 receivers and a tight end and 1 in the backfield. Phillip, a 2-step drop, lob into the end zone. He's got Lulay. Touchdown, Hayaks! What a throw from Phillip as Lulay brings it in and goes down with a cramp deep in the end zone.
Just a beautiful throw, one-on-one. I thought this looked like a pre-snap matchup. We've seen them work this comeback a couple times. Throwing the ball underneath can get the DB to settle at depth, and this time they just run right by him. Kinsale Phillip, ball high and away. Lulay runs under it nicely. Ball's in the back corner of the end.
Got 2 feet in just for good measure.
That is how you draw it up. That is pretty.
He's got a little separation there on Lucas. and makes the catch. How about Lulay, who has really come on in the back half of this season and made a ton of plays for this Hayek program down the stretch. Now, the Hayeks will go for two because they need to. Here's Phillip. The handoff, no. Kingsley well short of the goal line. And there's just not much running room in this interior on this Mount Doug defense, but they continue to keep him honest and pound it in there, but it's just not really happening.
It hasn't happened. It hasn't happened so far tonight on a lot of run plays, but particularly these two-point plays. New West, feeling good about the two-point magic we saw a year ago, sticking to that theme, but just hasn't happened for him tonight.
Wow. They turn the ball over on the 2. The very next play, they get it back on the 12, and they end up punching into the end zone. So that's big there for the Hayeks now, but they missed the two-point conversion. So instead of being down 8, they're down 10, still 2 scores, but now it's a touchdown and a field goal here for New West with 7:12 to go in this third quarter here from BC Place in the AAA Subway Bowl. And this has been a good one so far, and I think we are going to be in for a special finish here tonight. It's Jake Elliott, it's Travis Lulay with you here on TSN 1040 and BCHighSchoolFootball.com. Here comes the kick from North Grips. And he'll drive it near sideline. It's through the man. That's a live football. And then leading with the head here was Taryn Birdie, and that's going to be a 15-yarder. Dante Carbone came up with the football, but Birdie came in leading with the crown of his helmet, and that's going to give good field position here to Mount Douglas.
Yeah, sometimes these are tough when the ball's low. If Taryn Birdie's just diving for the football on the ground, his head unfortunately hits the Mount Doug player's head.
Foul. Kicking team, number 21, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And so I want to mention one more time, if you want to get some merchandise from the Subway Bowl, check the website at BCHighSchoolFootball.com on Monday. You can get t-shirts, hoodies, hats. All your merchandise will be available on the website, BCHighSchoolFootball.com, come Monday. So ball gets spotted down on the 45-yard line here of New Westminster for the Mount Doug Rams to start this drive with the 10-point lead and 7:11 to go here in the third quarter. 5-man front here for New West as they load up inside, expecting a run. It's a pitch, it's a reverse, it's Mosky with a lead block out in front, and Kremler, Mosky to the far boundary, cut off there from Scholl, but not after Mount Douglas able to pick up close to 12 and a first down.
Nice job lead blocking on that reverse by Gideon Kremler. Sometimes those blocks need to be sustained for a really long time on these reverse plays.
Second exchange was a little dicey as Planinsik was into the backfield there, but he got blocked off pretty quickly. And Mosky was able to carry ahead for 12 and a fresh set of downs here for the Rams. Inside the 35 to the 34-yard line, left hash mark, 2 in the backfield for Kremler. He'll bring it out. Kremler looking downfield, throws on the run, delivers right on the mark to Henson, who's got another completion wrapped up out of bounds close to the 20-yard line.
Nice job selling quarterback run there. Gideon Kremler tucks the football away here, trying to get the defense to pursue upwards. They do, hits that second-level player. You see nice action there by Kremler.
Another 13-yard chunk on offense for Mount Doug. As the ball down to the 20 here for the Rams as they come to the line of scrimmage. 3 in the backfield once again here for Gideon Kremler. And now wishbone formation, 2 wide receivers. It's a handoff to Zarek Kremler, spinning away from Lulay, but number 9 in white not letting go, and it's about a 1-yard gain there for Zarek Kremler.
Tell you what, Matthew Lalim's got some strong hands. We've seen him make some nice catches tonight. We've also seen him hold on to jerseys a couple of times.
Yeah, I was going to say, whoever's manufacturing those Mount Doug jerseys deserves some credit as well for that thing not tearing in half.
Yeah, they're hanging on tight.
Kinsale Phillip coming to the Hayek sideline.
Number 4, New West, off for 1 play, leading.
And that's because some blood coming, I believe, out of the elbow of Phillip and has to come off the field to get bandaged up. So they're missing their star linebacker. It's actually down around his right knee for Phillip, but they'll miss him on this important 2nd and long. Gideon Kremler, the keep. Good cut. Kremler down to the 5. to the goal line. Touchdown, Mount Douglas. Gideon Kremler with another. I don't know how you stop that kid, Travis.
You don't stop him. And talking to Coach Lulay before the game, he knows they're not going to stop him. They're hoping to contain him, but it's been hard to do even that tonight. Really nice ball fake on the edge, taking advantage of a play when Kinsale Phillips out. He's obviously got a great nose for the football, but right here you see Gideon Kremler, just that little ball fake outside, freezes the defenders, puts his left foot in the ground, gets vertical, finds his way into the end zone. Both the Kremler brothers really had a nice nose for the end zone tonight.
This is a kid that won a varsity championship as a grade 9 quarterback. Oh, Heather Foster down there with some nice hands, I think. And, you know, he went down with a knee injury, delayed his surgery so he could finish off the season. Was very kind of tentative coming back, but now you can see Gideon Kremler just saying, you know what, this is my final year of high school football. This is my final game of high school football. And he's just letting it all hang out, doing it all here for the Rams today.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no sign of past injury in the way he's playing today. He's cutting off of both legs, confidently putting a foot in the ground, really running aggressively. You know, so often I've dealt with this myself coming off of an ACL and know that there's just a time frame when you come back that you don't have full faith in that knee quite yet, even if some of the strength is there. But as that confidence come back and that strength has come fully around, I think we're seeing the complete athlete again.
Well, it's Jake Elliott, Travis Lulay with you. We haven't even really talked about the health of Travis Lulay. It was just great to see you back playing football again for the BC Lions. I know you had a little stretch there where you're out of the lineup, but great to see you back in and playing and feeling healthy and starting as quarterback. Obviously not the finish you were looking for in Hamilton, Travis, so we don't need to go down that road, but maybe talk about what the future holds for Travis Lulay. How are you feeling after the season? Looking forward to next year. What's the plan?
Yeah, I feel relatively good. I'll tell you this: at the end of a long season, my tank is certainly empty, and you know it was a kind of a unique year for me coming back off of a knee injury first and having my shoulder banged up and just narrowly avoiding a bigger head injury. But I made it through the end of the season unscathed. As we said, it didn't finish the way we hoped. But I got to let the body heal up, and then we'll make decisions from there.
All right. Handoff. And hard tackle at the Hayek sideline that draws a rouse out of the crowd as Udo on his first carry. Wrapped up by Lucas on an aggressive tackle. As you can start to feel a little emotion come into this game here in the later stages of quarter 3. A lot of talking after each and every play between these two teams that obviously respect each other, but getting after it here in the Subway Bowl.
And we've mentioned it early in this game. You could feel the physicality on the first series, and nothing's changed here late in the third quarter.
Phillip.
Oh,
he's
Lord.
driven back. Popped. And nailed at the 28-yard line. Aiden Bertuzzi delivering the shot. I don't think Phillip ever saw him coming.
I don't either. He's got his eyes down the field looking for a gap. Just a great one-on-one pass rush by Aiden Bertuzzi right there. He's one-on-one matched up, looks at the tackle. He makes an inside move. If you win to the inside when you're playing defensive end, you're in the quarterback's face right now, and that happens before Kinsale Phillip had a chance to feel that pressure.
Well, it'll make the highlight reel later tonight for sure. 3rd and 18 now for the Hayeks. Phillip shotgun snap, spins the ball in his hand, fires, and it's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Incomplete. Mount Doug thinks it's a live football, but the whistle goes. But New Est will have to kick away, trailing 35-18. And they're approaching must-stop territory now, Travis. They can't allow any more points if they want to come back in this game.
Yeah, no question. And we've seen them. They've been able to respond several times tonight. Just recently we saw Matthew Lean with the strip. If they could find a way to come up with a big stop, a 3-and-out, or a turnover, that would do a lot for this team's confidence and their chances here in the back half of the third quarter.
Jaron Birdie takes the long snap. He'll stick the right leg into it. Good punt here will fly to the 32.
Oh, no.
Loose
There you
football. But I think the Rams got back down on top of it. A chance there for the Hayeks, but can't come up with the play. The officials will signal Mount Douglas football. And that looked like a dive.
Yeah, a little extracurricular going on. You don't like to see that. I don't know if that was a flop or a push or a little bit of both or
I
what.
think it was probably a little bit of both here. And the officials need to get
Still
to
flags coming down.
Hayek's starting to lose their mind on the sideline here a little bit, and coaching staff needs to get a handle on it, because I get it. There's no real need for that, but you also don't want to disrespect the game by flopping down like you just got shot. So the referees will confer here, and let's see what they call. I think you could probably throw a flag on each player.
We'll see. We'll see how they sort this out.
Lee Breen will turn the microphone on here and make the call.
There's 2 fouls on the play. First foul will be canceled. There's no personal foul against New West. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct 4 on the offense, that penalty will be enforced. First down.
Okay, so I think he ended up calling the flop, Travis.
Yeah.
Let's watch it again here. We'll get a good shot of this.
Which way
4
is the
becomes
flag
the
go?
offensive play. So there's the fumble, there's the recovery. That's not where the flag is. The flag comes well after. There's a little wrestling match. This is after the whistle. Still no flag here. Still no flag. Ball comes loose.
Well, there's a little,
Almost
maybe
like
a little
kick there. Now watch this here. This is where it is. And that's where the penalty is called on Lucas. And I easily think now, watching the replay, you could have called 6 on New West for some unsportsmanlike conduct as well for that little kick he threw. But Lucas went down way too easily off a little push, and that's ultimately the flag that they ended up throwing.
They did, but the ball moved forward in Mount Doug's favor, so I'm a little confused by this ruling. Like you say, on the replay, offsetting may have been an appropriate call, but Mount Doug becomes a benefactor of however they work this out. Looks like 15 yards in their favor.
Crazy. I don't have an explanation for it. Either way, cooler heads need to prevail here in this championship game. High snap for Gideon. Brings it in, looks, finds an open Sebastian Henson. Needs a block out on the edge as he's shoved out of bounds. Close to the 40. They'll mark him out at the 41. And really, Sebastian Henson has been open for Gideon Kremler anytime he's wanted him.
Yeah, he's made some really nice plays tonight. Seen some good speed and playmaking ability on his part. This is a nice job. This ball looks like it either came up early or however it worked out. Gideon Kremler did not look like he expected the snap to come up when it did. It's a nice job just to handle the football, let alone keep his composure enough to spin and find an open receiver for a big gain.
35-18 Rams, and now if you're the Hayeks, Travis, you got to start taking a couple of chances defensively. Maybe try and jump a route, dial up a DB blitz or something like that, and try and force a turnover here if you're New West.
Yeah, turnover we spoke on just a moment ago would be a huge momentum boost for New West when they really need it. Either way, they got to find a way to come up with a stop and do it quickly before Mount Doug gets in scoring territory.
So timeout down on the field. I believe Mount Doug has called it, so that's one timeout burned here in the second half. But with a big lead, trying to claim their 5th title in the last 8 years as they won a stretch of 3 in a row from 2012 to 2015. And just the model franchise in high school football here in BC. They've had some great players over the years, but Coach Townsend has really done it right at Mount Doug, and it's really a model that probably every other program in the province could follow, or should.
Yeah, no question. You've heard Mount Doug's name for years when it comes to BC championship football, and we're seeing why. This team just expects to play in a big moment, and so far putting up a phenomenal effort here in the title game.
Another pitch here on 1st and 10. Oh, what a move there from Sarah Kremler. As again, Lulay comes in and tries to strip that ball free. Along with Scholl, but before Sarah Kremler picks up close to 10. We'll spun him down about a yard short of the marker.
Yeah, these crack toss plays have been good for Mount Doug all night long. And there you see again, the play's set up nicely, but a nice cut by Zarek Kremler to maximize that play.
2nd and 1 here. Gideon Kremler, 3-step drop, look over the middle, looks deep on a seam route.
Ooh.
And Muskie just couldn't quite catch up to it. Good coverage out on the edge there as well, step for step. I believe that was Galbraith in coverage, and that one falls incomplete. As Gideon Kremler has a chat there with Sebastian Henson after that play.
I like the call here. I like this one-on-one matchup. Galbraith does a nice job of keeping outside leverage, so he's got his eyes on the football the whole time. Even though Sam Mosky had a step.
It's good technique.
Yeah, it was good technique. He has eyes on the football, put himself in position. It would have had to be a perfect throw and catch, and that one was just off.
3rd and 2 as they took a shot on a 2nd and short. As now they try and convert, and it's Zarek Kremler on the edge. Easy 1st down yardage as he picks up close to 6.
And that's what that 1st down production allowed them to do on that 2nd and short play. Take a shot. You feel confident about converting on 3rd and short. And there they come right back to their bread and butter, this little toss play outside on the edge for another positive chunk and a 1st down.
I haven't seen a team move the ball this effectively against this High-X defense in quite some time. But at times, Mount Doug making it look easy. Fake the handoff. No, they give it to him. And slipping down, a flight comes in too. As Hansen just went down on his own accord. As just slipped on the turf. Now let's check the laundry here as well.
It's in hold territory, certainly.
Might have been a hold on New West. There's the call from the head official. I think the discussion is whether New West wants to accept or decline this penalty.
Personal foul, blindside block. Offense, number 13, 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay.
Cole Bunting on a blindside block will get you a personal foul. As I didn't see it, Trouse, and that's
I didn't either.
Not a call you see very often.
I know rules have changed. Blindside block is one you didn't hear years ago, but now there are specific regulations. I didn't see that on that last play, but they've been utilizing those outside-in blocks and cracks and things all night long.
1st and 25 on the pitch again. Zarek does well just to bring it in. Ugh. Such a powerful runner. Is he just so strong on his feet? Dragged down from behind, but not before he got across the 40-yard line. But that was another bit of a sketchy pitch there from Gideon to Zarek.
Yeah, it reminded people of the first play of the game with that left-handed option pitch that was just off the mark. This time Zarek Kremler makes a nice catch from his twin brother just to secure it. And then, as you mentioned, tough running for a good positive yardage.
Gain of 4, 2nd and 20. There's another misdirection. It's Hansen. They've run this play a couple of times. He'll cut it up inside. And now Chol will wrap up. And he'll be shy of the marker here by about 11 yards. It'll be 3rd down and manageable now as they've battled their way back from a 1st and 25 to about a 3rd and 11 now. And that's exactly what you want to do.
Yep. When you're in 1st and 20, you got to find a way to – you have 2 plays to make it 3rd and manageable, and they've done that. Now, 3rd and 11 isn't ideal, but considering 1st and 20, you got a chance here on 3rd down. New West, on their end, has to find a way to be opportunistic with that penalty, come up with a stop here on 3rd down.
Kremler in the shotgun, single setback, trip receivers high side. Kremler, lots of time in the pocket. Here comes pressure now. He's got to scramble and just throw this one away. Good decision there from the Rams quarterback as he had 2 High-X into the backfield and nowhere to go with the football.
Yeah, sometimes playing quarterback, a big part of the position is managing the game. It's just cutting your losses. Don't make a bad play worse. That time had a little bit of leakage late in the pass protection. Leaked backwards, couldn't find an open receiver. We've seen him scramble to open space and find receivers downfield. That time nobody open. Throw the ball away, live to play another down.
Leakage, never a good thing, Travis. And looks like Kremler might be a BC Lions fan with that sticker on the back of his helmet as well.
Good man.
Deep in the shotgun now, Kremler, he'll pooch it. And nobody over there at the 5 as it'll roll down to the goal line and into the end zone. for a Hayek touchback here. As Joel dangerously close to that football. If that thing bounces off his leg, that's a live football and a touchdown for the Rams.
Right. As it was, I think he kind of. Okay.
Touchback the call.
There's your ruling. They said whether he touched it or not, the ball went in the end zone. Touchback.
Well, they'll take it at the 20.
First and 10, New West from the 20.
And the Hayeks down 35-18. A minute and 11 to go here in the third quarter, and they're approaching must-score territory now on each and every drive.
Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of time here, but the urgency has to be high. And I know it is on that New West sideline. They need to find a way to get another score and find themselves back in this football game.
There's Comeo, who's been ever so quiet here today, and I know Doug Rams have just really focused their attention on number 5 and almost saying to the Hayeks, he is not going to beat us. If you're going to beat us, it's going to have to come from somebody else.
Yeah, and good strategy. Brox Comia has been such a dangerous player all season long, and it's just been hard to get him going on that New West side. Obviously, he's gotten plenty of touches, but a lot of that stuff off the edge is Mount Doug has schemed up and really been in good position to thwart those attacks on the edge.
Yeah, I mean, they've tried it on the outside. They tried it on the inside. Oh, Kinsale Phillip. A shoestring tackle away from a huge gain. It's still a good one. But somebody got a hand in there just to trip up the Hayek quarterback before he got the motor in full gear. Right there.
Gideon Kremler.
There's nobody in front of Phillip if he gets past that wave. As it stands, it's a 3rd and 5 here from the 25-yard line. Can the Hayeks convert? Phillip takes the shotgun snap, looks to throw. Rifles one. Scholl to catch right near the marker at the 30, here. And I think the referee is going to be generous with that spot and give it to him just across the 30-yard line. Good arm strength there from Kinsale Phillip and delivered it on the mark to A.J. Scholl.
Yeah, it looked like he may have been a little uncertain, but he fought it and let it roll.
We are at the end of 3 quarters. Here from BC Place. 4th quarter action, the Subway Bowl coming up on BCHighSchoolFootball.com and TSN 1040. All right, football fans, welcome back inside BC Place. The Subway Bowl, the AAA final, has 12 minutes left in it. And the Hayeks, the defending champions, down 17 here to the Mount Doug Rams. 35-18 your score. Jake Elliott, Travis Lulay with you. As the opening snap of the 4th quarter will come from the 30-yard line on a 1st and 10 here for the Hayeks. Misdirection, Taryn Birdie. Big block out on the edge. Spin move for Birdie. He's got 5. He's got 6. A flag comes in late. And down goes Birdie after a 7-yard gain, but a hellacious block there thrown on Lucas. I think it was Kinsale Phillip out in front.
Foul, face mask, defense, number 4, 15-yard penalty from
and a 15-yard face masking penalty at the end of that play on Lucas as well. Just watch number 4 at the top of your screen here. As you just miss it out of the corner of their screen, and then Lucas comes in with a face mask. Somebody lost a mouth guard in that play as well. Violent play there to start the 4th quarter. As fans listening in on TSN 1040 should probably know that we are streaming live on the internet as well. We're telling people to watch things, and they're listening on the radio going, what?
Right. I think we saw a little bit more of the linebacker side than the quarterback side. Kinsale Phillip with that lead block lowering the boom.
Yeah, Coach Lulay really saying that Kinsale Phillip brings a defensive mentality to the quarterback position. Maybe you can elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, yeah, you've seen it tonight. I mean, they started the game with 2 quarterback runs. He just brings a physical presence. And, physicality means a lot of different things, but in their case, he's setting the tone with carrying the ball hard downhill and on the defensive side of the ball coming up and hitting.
Ball to the 48 here of the Rams. Phillip loads up the gun, throws to the outside, and Matthew Lulay comes up limping again. He's just having some problems cramping here in his left calf, and I think he's going to have to come out of this game. And I think the ball was where it was supposed to be from Phillip, but Lulay just couldn't get there because he cramped up on the out route.
Yeah, and if Kinsale Phillip had any idea of taking a second hitch and working through any kind of progression, he didn't have the time to do it. So he had to put that ball up and outside to give his receiver a chance. And as you said, Lulay, we see him getting stretched out now. Looks like he's just cramping up a little bit. Couldn't quite get out of that break maybe the way he wanted to.
3 receivers in here for this play as Phillip takes the snap, looks deep, and this will be well overthrown. As Joel looking for a flag on that far boundary, nothing laying on the turf. And it'll bring up 3rd and 10.
There was some contact, but it looked like the corner from Mount Doug was in pretty good position, so I don't think that's worthy of a call.
An uncatchable ball.
Yep.
Just way overthrown. But a big play coming now for the Hayeks, staring at a 3rd and 10. And without probably their best receiver in there in Matthew Lulay. Kinsale Phillip, a Subway Bowl champion a year ago. Trying to repeat. But right now, it's one of his good friends in Gideon Krimler looking for his 2nd Subway Bowl. Phillip almost lost the football. He'll gain about 7, and that play call right there, Travis, really looked like if we don't get it on 3rd down, we're going for it on 4th down, but let's get something on 3rd down.
You got to think, especially this part of the field, this point of the game, you're going to be in 4-down territory. That's smart on 3rd down, not to try to get it all back, but put yourself in 4th and manageable, and that's what you have here on 4th and 4.
So they got to get to the 38 for a 1st down. They're on the 42 right now as Northgraves checks in late. He gets the play call from Joel. He's in the slot. So you know the ball's not going to Northgraves. Here's Phillip, steps up in the pocket, rifles
Open
one
man.
out right
Oh.
through the hands of A.J. Joel. He was wide open. And I think it was one of those situations, Travis, where he's thinking about what he wants to do before he caught the ball and forgot to secure the football.
That's what it looked like. Nice job by Kinsale Phillip stepping up in the pocket.
Oh, got to catch that ball.
Yeah, ball's a little high, but that is a ball that A.J. Joel knows he needed to catch. He looks a little dejected. Now he's got to buck up. That's one thing about playing high school football. A lot of these guys play both sides of the ball. You don't have time to think about it on the sidelines. You got to go play great defense.
Lulay still on the sideline as he went and picked up his mouth guard. Looked like something came flying from the stands down in his direction as he had a long stare up into the crowd. And now he comes onto the field late here just before the snap of the football. Moskey
makes the play.
And then makes the play. How about it for Matthew Lulay as he gets up gingerly once again as Moskey out across the 40-yard line. And what do we got here? Now Lulay just, I don't think he can continue.
Yeah, he keeps finding a way to make the play between the whistles, but every time the play's done, he's limping pretty gingerly on that foot, on that leg.
Flag at the end of that play. Ball to the 41-yard line here of the Rams. 4 receivers in, 1 in the backfield, and Gideon Krimler in the shotgun as he has been all evening long. Will he run? Will he throw? Play clock down to 10. Long count here is clock management becoming a factor as they almost got him to jump offside. Now it's Zarek on the carry. He'll plow ahead. And another powerful run from Zarek Krimler, picking up close to 7. And he's gaining 4 or 5 yards after contact here.
Yeah, some tough running all night long from both these Kremler twins, but last couple drives it seemed like Zarek Kremler is really, as this game's gone on, he seems to be getting stronger.
Ball to the 49-yard line as the Rams try and extend the drive here on a 3rd and 3. And again, they'll use up a good portion of this play clock here in this 4th quarter with a 17-point lead. It's Gideon on the keep, trying to spin out of a tackle. He'll be brought down short. Might have lost a yard. And it'll bring up 4th down. And now with a 17-point lead, you're on your own side of half here. I think you got to kick this football, don't you?
I would imagine we're going to see a punt here. We've seen a pooch punt earlier in this football game if they line up in normal offense and just kick it with Gideon Kremler. So we'll see what the strategy is here on the Mount Doug side.
Offense still out there, and they line up in an offensive formation. It doesn't mean they're going to run a play here. We could see another pooch as Kremler audibling.
Yeah, he's deeper than normal.
And he will pooch it. It's a high, short ball. Hayek's back. It'll bounce at the 25, and it'll skip out of bounds as it takes a backwards bounce out at the 25-yard line. That's where the Hayeks will take over. Down 17 with 8:17 to play here in the Subway Bowl.
Yeah, we're getting close to that time of the game where it's must-score territory. 17 points is 3 scores with 8 minutes to play. The way Mount Doug's run the football and been able to chew time off the clock, New West has to get something going, and they have to get something going in a hurry.
Hayeks trying to get their crowd whipped up in a frenzy before the start of this drive. As they come to the line of scrimmage, just inside the right hash mark at the 25-yard line. Kinsale Phillip under center for this one. One man in the backfield. He'll drop back to throw. A deep fade pattern here for Comia, looking for a flag, and he gets one. Was looking around, and the flag came flying at the 47.
Wonder if we'll see an illegal contact call here. That ball landed well out of bounds. Could almost be ruled uncatchable, but there was some contact.
Something we haven't seen from the Hayeks is splitting Brox Comia out to the wideout position. But I think they might have been forced into that a little bit with Lalim not able to go, but he's back into the game now. But he's kind of been in, out with that cramping all game long.
Yeah, Lalim is trying to gut it out, and if he's not on the field, why not? As we mentioned, it's been tough sledding for Brox Comia much of the night. Mount Doug's done a good job of holding him in check. Hey, split him out. See if he can win in the passing game.
Ball up to the 40-yard line after the pass interference penalty. Phillip under center once again. He'll take a 3-step drop, look to throw. Now he's going to scramble. Backing away. Here comes pressure. Look out. Got rid of the football. I didn't see anyone in the vicinity. No flag comes in, though. But it was about 10 yards short of his intended receiver that I don't really think he ever intended to get him to.
Yeah, oftentimes the officials have to make a judgment call here. Would he have thrown this ball away through the sidelines if he's not getting hit?
Outside the tackle box, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, I see right there. He's just getting wrapped up. He can't make the throw that he would have wanted to. And getting hit a lot of times, you're not going to get called for grounding.
So 2nd and 10 now for the Hayeks. Just over 8 minutes to go here in the Subway Bowl. The Rams looking for their 5th championship in the last 8 years. Under head coach Mark Townsend in his 13th year as the head man at Mount Douglas. Here's Phillip. Deep ball. Northgraves overthrew him. Phillip took a late hit, looking to the referee as he slowly picks himself up, but he's going to stare at a 3rd and 10 now.
I'll tell you what, the last 3 or 4 times Kinsale Phillip has dropped back to pass, he's gotten hit as soon as he let go of the football, so you got to credit Mount Doug. We've seen them and talked about it in the run game tonight, them getting penetration, getting upfield, but clearly in the drop back pass game, it's been tough. You don't have time to go through your progressions if you're the quarterback. You got one look and throw. That ball probably came out a split second sooner than Phillip wanted it to, and just off the mark.
Tell me the benefit of Kinsale Phillip going up under center, and when he knows he's going to be throwing the ball, why not just start him in the shotgun?
Well, the thing it can do is disguise looks. So if you have some runs and some play actions off that, it can give you that.
Throw over the middle, completion made. It's close to a 9-yard gain. Scholl won't go down as the whistle finally goes. Forward progress.
We got a late flag again.
We'll give him to the 49, and then the flag comes flying. Let's check the laundry.
Nice hands by A.J. Scholl catching that slant in traffic there and getting upfield.
Conversation here with the officials. There's a flag. Couple of flags on the field here, actually, at the 44, one at the 49. And I need to say this, over the last 3 weeks here at BC Place, I think the refereeing crews as a whole, each game I've done have done a wonderful job officiating these games, not only making the right calls. Let's get the call.
Offense, number 76. Personal foul, defense. Those fouls will offset. We'll replay third down.
So 2 personal fouls, 1 on each team, but not only making the proper calls, but making them in a quick fashion, executing, make the call, spot the ball, and play on here. Too many times I see in football, whatever level it may be, just lengthy conversation. Like it's a holding call, you know it's a holding call, make the call, spot the ball, and let's play. Too many times I see officials take so long, gather up all 5 guys, and these guys have done a nice job over the last 3 weeks.
That's great.
Phillip over the middle, in traffic again, looking this time for Lulay.
Late flag.
And now a wrestling
More
match out on the
extra-
edge as well. Bertuzzi and Comia mixing it up, but the flag came back on the Rams side of the 50. And then another one came in late for that altercation, if you want to call it that, between Comia and Aiden Bertuzzi.
Let's wait to get the call here. I don't know if Joe Lucas on the coverage there was there a little bit early on the first flag.
Here we go.
Pass interference, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, it's going to be a 15-yard pass interference. I'm not sure if they ever, I think they might have just picked up the second flag.
Looks like they did.
And I think that's probably the right non-call there. It wasn't anything too serious between Comia and Bertuzzi. And just pick it up, give them a little stern warning, and play on.
Yeah, so long as it's not malicious. If guys are finishing plays and officials saw something out of the corner of their eye that another official could correct and say, no, they're just playing through the whistle, then that's a great job by the officials of picking that flag up.
So Hayeks, this has been a methodical drive, really. Ball to the 45 of the Rams now, but clock down to 7:41 here. As Phillip out of the shotgun will drop back to throw. Looks deep. Rifles one out there. Chol tried to make a fingertip catch at the 35, but it slides away from him and out of bounds, incomplete.
That was really a nice throw by Kinsale Phillip. Nice time. Throws the ball away from the defender. That's Joe Lucas again on the coverage there. A.J. Chol just can't quite get out of his break to get to that ball and hang on.
It's really been a fun matchup to watch all game long with Chol and Lucas going mano a mano. And it's 2nd and 10 now for the Hayeks in between the hash marks right in the middle of the field. Chol comes split wide to this near side. Lalim up top. Long count here for Phillip. He'll look to throw. Looks left now over the middle. Low ball delivered.
That caught?
Did he get underneath that? Lalim tried to make a heck of a play, but I think it hit the turf before he got his hands underneath it.
It's Joe Lucas on the coverage again. And seeing his technique, he's playing hard inside leverage to the field there. That time they tried to run a dig or a post, it looked like. And he just couldn't quite get across the face. Good technique by that Mount Doug secondary, and Joe Lucas in particular. Made a nice break on that ball, even the out-breaking route before. That was just off the mark, and this time he's in position to make to break that pass up there.
Joel just couldn't quite secure it. It popped up into the air, and Lalim almost got underneath it for a first down catch. It's 3rd and 10, however. Phillip, good protection. Now he's going to step up, and he's going to go down. Cole Bunting again. He is making plays for the Rams on defense here in the Subway Bowl.
He certainly is. Called that name a few times. Again, protection's pretty good here. Kinsale Phillip looked like he got to his 2nd or 3rd hitch before he tried to escape up in the pocket and just nowhere to go.
That's just that internal quarterback clock, those steamboats going off in your head, and want to pass, not there, got to run. Maybe one steamboat too late.
Yeah, and you got to credit the Mount Doug secondary there. Whatever Kinsale Phillip is looking at downfield, clearly didn't feel comfortable in pulling the trigger. And a lot of times, defensive linebackers get credit for those sacks, but you got to tip your hat to the secondary for holding the coverage up on the back end.
35-18, Mount Douglas leads New Westminster. And the Hayeks will call timeout here as you get a look at Farhan Lalji. 4th and 13 coming. And really giving it to Matthew Lalim right now. And I got to believe the play is probably going to come his way here on a 4th and 13. And really ball game on the line for the Hayeks coming right here. I don't think that was like a stern talking to there from Farhan. I think he was saying, like, you need to run a perfect route here and be ready to catch the football when it comes your way.
Yeah. A lot of times in these tense moments, you're just instilling a little bit of confidence. I believe you can make the play. Be curious to see what Coach Lulay was saying in that moment.
Joel will come to the near side of the formation. Phillip in the shotgun, takes a low snap. Looking. Hurd throw over the middle. It was right there in the hands of Lalim, and he dropped it. He would have had the first down. Pass was a little bit behind him, Travis, but that's the ball that Matthew Lalim will usually catch.
Yeah, we've seen him make a lot of athletic plays on both sides of the ball tonight, and that's one that I think he's going to wish he had made. We saw Coach Lulay talking to A.J. Chol and Matthew Lalim right there. It was a two-man route concept to this side. Kinsale Phillips' eyes were here the whole time. Found a guy, as you mentioned, the ball was on his body or a little bit behind him, but they had a chance to convert that 4th and 12, 4th and 13, and just didn't make the play they needed to.
That's usually a play they do make on a consistent basis, but turnover on downs, and now Mount Doug with it with 7:14 to play and a 17-point lead. Gideon Kremler out of the shotgun. This is a lateral look out downfield, wide open, caught at the 30, down the sideline and out of bounds is Lucas. How about the play call from Coach Townsend?
Just sensing a little bit of momentum, a chance to really.
Dante Carbone on the throw downfield.
Yeah, you see it setting up. We're at the perfect angle here in the booth. You can see that was a lateral, and you can see the receiver running downfield there. That's Joe Lucas, the guy we've been talking about making a couple plays on defensive side, finds himself wide open beyond the secondary on that lateral receiver pass.
Just couldn't stay in bounds down the near sideline. Otherwise, he was off to the house for a call. Here's Eric Kremler with a big gap and an 8-yard gain down to the 17-yard line.
Well, if you're Mount Doug, that's exactly what you want. You want good chunk plays on first down production, and gives you the option to keep running the football on second and third down, keep the clock moving. New West has to find a way to come up with a turnover, a big stop.
You know, two evenly matched teams here, Travis Lulay, and I really think here in the Subway Bowl today, it's just come down to execution, and Mount Doug has done a better job.
Yeah, I think that's an easy argument, and the scoreboard reflects that to this point.
Not that the Hayeks have played poorly, they just haven't played their best football, and Mount Doug is clicking. Mosky, first down to the 11.
Yeah, Mount Doug's had a handful of mistakes in this football game, but outside of those mistakes, they've been really sound. They've been consistent for all 4 quarters, giving themselves good chances, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. Again, we've talked about their defensive line slowing down Brox Comia and a lot of what New West is generally really good at doing. You got to just tip your hat to the way Mount Doug's play to put themselves in position, up 3 scores here in the 4th with the ball.
Kinsale bleeding again from his shin, forced off the field, and he is noticeably limping now. But, you know, the last thing that the senior wants to do is come out of this game. Gideon Kremler up the gut, down to the 2. And now the Rams just imposing their will on the Hayeks here. Lalim down again.
Tell you what, you see a lot of these guys just trying to gut it out right now. Kinsale Phillip limping onto the sidelines. He's got tape on. He's been bleeding a couple of times. Matthew Lalim limping off in between plays, trying to gut it out for his teammates.
This high school season, especially in the Western, it's a meat grinder, Travis, and these kids have been through the rigors, and they're starting to feel it here in their final game of the season. Late substitution scrambling on as Garchuk comes on for his first snap of football here in the Subway Bowl. From the 1, Rams trying to drive a nail into the coffin here. Kremler will hand it off, and Kremler will punch it in. Gideon to Zarek, another touchdown for Mount Douglas. And the route on now, Travis Lulay.
Yeah, this is becoming to look like a really tough deficit to overcome here for New West. But tell you what, we've talked a lot about the Kremler twins, and deservedly so. They've been running the football hard. But how about that Mount Doug offensive line consistently giving their ball carriers, creases behind them, letting those athletes get into space, make some plays. Great job there by the offensive line. That ball almost walked in. We've seen these guys run for some hard yard touchdowns. That one was pretty easy.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I don't think you can overstate it enough. The job that the line has done for Mount Doug on both the offensive side and the defensive side of the football, plugging up the run against a run-heavy team like the Hayaks all afternoon long, out on the edge, on the interior. They've done the job stopping the run, and that's a hard thing to do against the Hayaks. But then on the flip side of things, they've opened up huge holes for Zarek, Gideon. You can throw a couple other guys in the mix as well that have just kind of had their way at the line of scrimmage, and it always comes down to that battle in the trenches, doesn't it?
It does, and we've seen it for the duration of this football game. It hasn't been a quarter here or a series there. It's been pretty consistent throughout this football game, and New West is a very good football team. So to do it in this setting against a team that does a lot of misdirection and really keeps defenses on their heels for much of the game. You know, in talking to Coach Lulay earlier in the week, he said that this game was going to come down to a battle of the trenches, and he's been right. And tonight, Mount Doug has won that battle on both sides of the football.
No question about it. And the fans that have come here to support Mount Doug pale in comparison to Hayak Nation here, and understandably so, being an island trip over. But shout out to all of them back on Vancouver Island that have tuned into the broadcast here on TSN 1040 and BCHighSchoolFootball.com on SportsCanada.TV. I'm sure they've enjoyed this one from Victoria, and 42-18 now for Mount Doug on their way to their 5th championship in 8 years. It's just been incredible what Coach Townsend has been able to do with this Mount Doug program. And hats off to New West as well. They lost 11 players to graduation last year, which isn't a ton, but really they lost 4 or 5 key players. But it's a testament to what Farhan Lalji and the Hayak program has been able to do to get to back-to-back Subway Bowls.
No question. I think
look out, Kingsley breaking free. Down to the 22-yard line, and another late flag comes flying, and an injury back at the 48-yard line as well. Michael Kingsley with a big return. A lot happening on that play. Watch it again here on the replay as Reed with that low kick once again. I'll walk you through it radio side. Kingsley picked it up around his own 38 and broke about 5 tackles before being wrestled down around the 15, I believe. Where do they have that spotted? At the 22, excuse me. But the conversation on what the flag was
After
for.
the play, we have 2 fouls, both personal foul. Mount Doug, number 6. New West, number 6. In addition, New West, number 6, foul for stomping will carry a disqualification.
Wow. Arjun Ball has just been ejected from this football game. 2 personal fouls, but the one, and both to number 6 on each team. But Arjun Ball for the Hayaks has been shown the showers.
Yeah, they ruled stomping, the official said. I didn't see it. But that's just unfortunate. There's been a little extracurriculars happening here in the 4th quarter, and I get it.
Frustration.
Yeah,
boiling
frustration. Over. Emotions run high. You want to see these guys.
Can't be doing that.
Yeah, you want to see these guys find a way to settle down. You want to keep everything between the whistles. Both sides can help contribute to to keeping the game played the way we want to see it played.
It's Brumbra. It's coming off slow here for the Hayaks, number 50. Walking off under his own power, and his evening may be over, but still 5:19 to go in this football game. So the offsetting personal fouls will keep the ball on the 22-yard line. But the Hayaks down big here, 42-18. Trying to cut into this Mount Doug lead. Phillip on the rollout. Limping his way out to the edge. Delivers the football on the mark. Inside the 10-yard line.
Oh, boy. Was
and the
that
Mount
ball?
Doug Rams ripped it away.
Was forward progress stopped?
Let's see what the signal is here from the officials.
Depends on the rule.
The runner's progress is stopped.
They'll say forward progress for the Hayaks and Markham. And now Mount Doug coming off the field signaling it's their ball. I don't think just
he
one
heard
player.
the official.
Yeah, I think he thinks it's his ball, but it's not. Nice job there to tear it away, nonetheless, by Primo, but it's still Hayak football. Ball is on the 10-yard line. Quick snap, Phillip looks end zone. He's got a man on the out pattern. It's Comia. Touchdown, Hayaks.
Going for 2. Really nice play design. Comia coming out of the backfield to the flat, wide open. Easy pitch and catch, walk in. It's funny when you get a little bit of momentum how some of these plays start to look easier.
Well, we haven't seen a Hayak player that wide open on a pass play all evening long, but Brooks Comia with an easy walk into the end zone. Nobody within 7 yards.
And sometimes the tailback, the guy coming out of the backfield, is a forgotten man in coverage, particularly down in the red zone. I've seen it a number of times over the years, and that was a perfect example right there.
9-yard touchdown there for Comia and the Hayaks. Here's Phillip on the fade into the end zone, and Joel was there. I don't know if he ran the right pattern. It was a well-thrown ball, but it falls incomplete. Their third failed two-point conversion of this game. So with that, it's 42-24.
A.J. Chol tapping his chest, looking at Kinsale Phillip. I don't think he liked the way he ran that route, and Phillip just put the ball up on time on a fade route, high and outside, and A.J. Chol might have done a little too much, made an inside move, and just couldn't recover and get back to that football.
So it's back to a 3-score game at an 18-point spread here. But with just 4:54 to go, the Hayaks need to find themselves an onside kick recovery here from Northgraves and company to give themselves a chance. Well, teeing up on the 40-yard line. Hayek's got to get the right personnel out there. And now what do we got? Timeout.
Charge timeout, Mount Doug. Their second timeout in the
Mount
half.
Douglas calls their second timeout before the Hayeks can kick the football. As they were ready for the onside kick, but maybe the special teams coach just want to talk it over, make sure everybody knows their assignments here in an important juncture of the game. Well, just 5 minutes to go in the BC high school football season. An important onside kick coming here from Northgraves and the Hayaks. But a chance to thank our sponsors quickly once again. Subway, Barron Rings, Kahuniverse, TSN 1040, Skyline, Baden. All big sponsors here of BC high school football, and we can't thank you enough. Here comes Northgraves to the line. Skips it along the turf.
Kick.
Takes a big bounce up, but Scholl just couldn't get a hand on it as it flies out of bounds around the Mount Doug 40, but that'll be a procedure call here on New West, and Mount Doug will just take the football.
That was close. That ball was...
Got the action he was looking for.
Yeah.
Kicking team. 5-yard penalty from
It was
the
end over end, hard on the ground, popped up high in the air. Oh, and
Close, but no cigar.
just a foot or two away from being able to possess that football for New West. And again, that failed two-point conversion could have made this a 16-point game. As it sits, it's 18 points. It's 3 scores.
Well, I think 3 failed two-point conversions here, Travis. And we talked about the kicking game being so important in a game like this. You wonder if New West second-guessing themselves a little bit. Maybe they should have just gone for signals, and it'd be a different scoreline at this point.
Maybe. It's been a domino effect ever since that first blocked PAT.
Yeah.
And we talked about it from the get-go, and it's affected the game throughout.
Here's Mosky with a big hole.
Oh, good speed
Luck
here.
out.
Oh, wow.
He's gone. 15, 10, 5 touchdown Rams. One play is all it took.
Great speed by Sam Mosky right there.
Untouched.
Yeah, and again, we've talked about this Mount Douglas offensive line. How about this play? I mean, he just has a crease. Once he gets a crease, he's out running angles to the end zone.
Nobody got a hand on it. My goodness. And that's
After
just
the play, unsportsmanlike conduct.
blocking at the point of attack, and then an
Offense,
unsportsmanlike
number 3,
call.
15-yard penalty.
Well, you might as well start dancing and spike the ball if you're going to get an unsportsmanlike call. He didn't really do anything.
Yep, looked like he may have given a peace signal on his way to the end zone.
Well, I'll tell you what, I kind of went off about this in the quarterfinal matchups. Somebody got called on a 15-yarder when they scored a touchdown. They put, the boys like to put the spin on the ball, and they watch the guys in the NFL pulling cell phones out of the padding and the uprights and doing all sorts of different choreographed touchdowns. So these guys watch these guys every Sunday, and to take the fun part, like, it's a joy. It's a privilege to score a touchdown, and then to kind of put handcuffs on them a little bit. Why not let them have a little bit of fun after they score a touchdown? And I don't want to see jumping up into the stands and grabbing cameras and all the rest of it. But, I mean, if you want to have a little dance and spin a football after you score a touchdown, I really don't see the harm in it. But they do it in the pros. Why are you calling it here in high school?
No, you're fair. That's fair, and I think that's right. I do think they differentiate between what could be deemed as taunting versus celebrating,
absolutely.
And I think that's a taunting call right there.
No, I get
in that case, we saw that call on Tyreek Hill of the Kansas City Chiefs a couple weeks ago doing the same thing, kind of giving a peace sign. I'm out of here. I'm on my way to the end zone. But I'm with you. I'm all for having a little fun, and I'm not a huge celebrator myself.
No, but the fans love it.
But I tell you what, I love to see my wideout celebrate. I love to see my tailback do a little shimmy in the end zone. It makes everybody feel good on the sideline.
And the fans love it.
Of course.
So, I don't know why you want to take that away. Extra point, no good. So it remains 48-24 after the big touchdown run from Mosky. And the Mount Doug Rams, what can you say? Year after year, they haven't been in this game since 2015. But they are going to win themselves their 5th championship in the last 8 years.
Did we just see big Mount Almstead attempt that PAT there?
I was so engaged in our touchdown celebration conversation, Travis, I might have missed that, but the way that they were coming off, that looks like that was the case.
Yeah, I think he missed that PAT, and he laid on the turf with his eyes down in disgust.
I think they
his
wanted to
own
get the
missed
senior
PAT.
a point in his high school career, and that was probably the easiest way to try and do it.
Well, you had a chance, big fella.
That's all you can ask for.
That's all you can ask for.
Well, we won't get the climactic finish that we did a year ago here at the Subway Bowl, but again, these two teams, the best teams in the province, playing their best football at the end of the year, and just both deserve to be in this game, but Mount Doug just that much better here today.
No, you bring up a great point about playing their best football, and that's what it's about. You've seen a ton of growth from both of these teams. Mount Doug overcoming the Vancouver College hurdle that both these teams struggled against Van College early in the year. To see Mount Doug rise to the point where they're, beating them in the semifinals, and as you mentioned, a lot of people wouldn't have picked, particularly the midway point of the season, these two teams in this game, but they absolutely earned the right to play in this game through their hard work, and you want to see teams get better as the season goes on, and that's what you've seen from these two clubs.
Again, some pushing and shoving after the whistle, and cooler heads will prevail. As Udo on the return. Now 4:39 away from a championship here for the Mount Doug Rams. And a 24-point lead. It'll be a nice ferry ride back to the island here for the champs in 2018. Shotgun for Phillip. Looking. Lost the ball. Got it back and falls on top of it. Again, we've kind of been harping on it late in this game, Travis, but the defensive line for the Rams has been dominant here today.
Yeah, and this is a tough situation because New West knows they have to score quickly. Mount Doug knows that New West has to score quickly. There's a good chance they're going to be dropping back to pass, and D linemen, this is what they play for. They like to pin their ears back and get upfield, and they've been good, like you mentioned, all night long. That D-line's been good, and if Kinsale Phillip has to hold the football and get to second and third looks, there's just not going to be enough time to be able to do that. It did all he could there just to recover that football.
Well, it's like the offensive line when they know they're going to run, the defensive line knows they're going to run, that's their favorite time. And just like a defensive line, when they know the offensive team has to pass, that's when they start to salivate a little bit and come after the quarterback.
Yep, there's no question.
Well, clock continues to run down here on the Hayeks, who will not be able to repeat as champions here in 2018. But for their graduating seniors like Kinsale Phillip and Evan Noley, what high school careers those kids had, and they're going to go on to be successful at the next level of football and in life. Just two amazing young men.
Yeah, and it's one of the things I love about sport in general and amateur sport, but you learn so many life lessons and, playing through adversity. We talk about Kinsale Phillip having been hurt earlier this year. Evan Noley changing positions, playing linebacker, just doing whatever the team needed for him. You learn how to interact with people and overcome hurdles. You learn how to deal with failure. You learn how to lose because you're not going to win at everything in life, right? And there's just so many tremendous life lessons that come from winning and losing at the high school level.
And the discipline it takes both on the field and in the classroom.
Yeah.
And it all sets you up for success later in life, and no matter what you do.
That's exactly right. And we talked about Matthew Lulay, for example, becoming better off of the field because football was that extra motivator to help him do what he needed to do. And there's countless stories like that in and around
it's not just
amateur
football.
athletics.
It's team
that's
sports
exactly right.
in general. It just it can't be overstated enough what an effect it has on your life away from the sport, just being part of a team and a greater cause. And if you got the right people around you, like Farhan Lalji or Mark Townsend, to guide you through that journey, all the better for it.
It's important. We need that in life. We need that as adults in life, is to have great people around us.
You're absolutely right, Travis. Absolutely. As Taryn Birdie back to punt once again here for New Westminster on a 4th and 12. Gets a great kick away. My goodness. Driving him back all the way to the 20-yard line. This might be a situation where he out-kicked his coverage, but pretty good downfield coverage there by the Hayeks from Dancy to force his man out of play. That was Carbone on the return. And now 3 minutes away here for the Rams. And I think they were kind of going conservative the last time they had possession of the football, but Mosky took it on the first snap and went to the house. So, it's got to be on the Hayeks here a little bit to make a couple of plays on defense to not allow any more points.
Right. You would think the ball's going to stay on the ground. Mount Doug wants to use all of the clock here, keep the clock churning. If you're New West, you want to find a way to get a couple stops, get the ball back. But this is what you call 4-minute offense. If you're Mount Doug, just trying to keep away and letting that clock tick.
Keep that clock moving. That's the goal here for the Rams, is they want that championship, and they're just 2:59 away from it now. Gideon Kremler, the handoff up the middle, and Zarek, another big gash, goes for about 15. And you can just tell the Hayeks are just dejected over there. And rightly so. They know they're going to lose this championship game, and that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of these guys who had real high hopes coming into this game and have just been overmatched by the Rams here today. Play clock down to 10. Kremler takes the snap, hand it off again. This one will go for about 3. There's Jordan Clark. Gets a little taste of the route.
Seeing Mount Doug substitute a few players in the game. Maybe we haven't got a ton of reps today.
Or maybe all year long. And
all year long.
What a thrill it would be for some of these backup players to get into a Subway Bowl and say, hey, I ran a couple of plays in the championship game in my high school career.
And you know what? These kids deserve it. These guys have been on the team all year long.
Battling against the starters and the second team. And they deserve it as much as anybody.
Absolutely. You're only as strong as your weakest link on a team, and those practice squad younger players that help the team get better week in and week out, hugely important pieces of the team, and
another thing you learn as an athlete when you're not a starter is, what it takes to be a good teammate, and then the amount of work and dedication it takes to turn yourself in from a second stringer to a first stringer.
Yeah. it instills the work ethic. And again, we speak about having good people around you, a mentor. It might just be a guy who's a couple years older, and you might be watching Gideon Kremler and the way he practices. The guy who's in the headlines now, you might say, hey, I want to do what he's doing. How does he go about his business? And so it goes both ways, right? It's an example for these older players, these grade 11 and 12, to show the way, and it's a chance for these grade 9 and 10s to learn the way that's been set in stone. And again, this Mount Doug program is a proud program, and it's taken a lot of work for them to get to the level where they are, and here they are on the verge of another championship. So they've got a culture there that breeds that continued success.
Coach Townsend saying it's still a young team here for the Rams as well, and could very well be back in this championship game a year from today. And I'm sure this HIAC program won't fall off too much. They'll take another step. As really this new Westminster program, you go to the home opener, you go to a HIAC game at Mercer Stadium in New Westminster, and that is a city and a community that really gets behind their HIACs, and they do things the right way. And I think it's just the same over on the island for Mount Doug. These two programs really mirror each other on engaging the community, doing things the right way in the school, and then it translates to a successful program on the football field.
I'm sure it does. It takes a ton of support. We're talking about amateur athletics here, so we're talking about the involvement of the parents, the coaches, everybody who touches these kids, the teachers that help these guys stay in line in the classroom and doing the things they need to do to be able to come out and play on their teams. So it really is. It's when you hear culture, those are the things that come to mind. It really is a group effort, and you see the fans from New West and how supportive they are all night tonight.
None of them have left.
Exactly.
And you can see Mount Doug is just so eager to get this clock to read triple zeros.
It'll be fourth down.
It looks like a fourth down play coming here. And Coach Townsend will give his star quarterback Gideon Kremler and his twin brothers Eric a big hug as they come off to the Rams sideline. As they move the ball back to the 43-yard line. Nice hands there from the officials. He switches the ball. He had to react quickly on that one. But it is fourth down here as they'll bring out the punt team, and they have not done that very often here in this one tonight. And HIAC's a little scrambly to get the proper personnel on. End over end kick, angling near sideline to the 12, and will bounce down to the 1-yard line and into the end zone. And a touchback here for the HIACs with 34 seconds left to go. Well, Travis, back-to-back years calling the Subway Bowl with you. I want to thank you for doing the AA game and doing the AAA game once again. It's always a pleasure to call some football with you. I think you might have a future in this once the playing career is over, whenever that may be. Whether you slide into coaching or broadcasting, I think you got an avenue to follow one way or the other.
Well, thank you very much. I've followed your lead, and again, I'll echo those comments. I appreciate doing it with a real pro.
I'm just happy to get the selfie with you because my Instagram goes nuts. I post, I get like 20 likes. I get Travis Lulay in my picture. All of a sudden, I'm triple digits.
Well, hey, send me the pic. I gotta get it out on my end too. So, no, it's been a pleasure, and I really enjoy seeing this amateur football and just an opportunity for me to see the BC Provincial Championships. It truly is exciting. It brings me back to my roots. Obviously, started clearly playing football at the amateur level and where I fell in love with the game, and here I am.
I brought up your Montana State boys who took it on the chin a little bit early today. But, yeah, man, it's always a pleasure. And, this has really become a staple in BC high school sports, being here at BC Place each and every year.
Here we go.
Kingsley is not done yet. And Sarah Kremler will bring him down at the 30-yard line off a big-time run there for Kingsley. That just might end the football game.
It might. Kingsley's had a couple really nice plays tonight, a big kick return, and he burst one there. So
it'll look good on the stat line.
Sure. That's a cool moment.
Well, maybe a couple more plays to come. 20 seconds to go and clock running as the HIACs come to the line at the 30. And Philp will hand it off Kingsley once again in the interior. We'll go nowhere. And I think that'll do it, Travis Lulay.
That will do it.
The Ramps, for the 5th time in 8 years, are your Subway Bowl AAA champions with a convincing victory, 48-24, your final. Congratulations to the Mount Douglas Rams as they storm to the field to celebrate.
Again, just two great teams, New West being the defending champ, Mount Doug being the team that's been a champion for much of the last decade, as we've spoken on all night tonight. They just did everything they needed to do to earn this AAA provincial championship tonight. It was a treat to watch. Disappointment on the New West sidelines. These guys have nothing to hang their heads about. Had a great year. As we mentioned, title a year ago, those guys have done a lot of things.
Yeah, they felt the joy, and now they feel the pain, and it's never easy to lose your last game of the season, but hats off to the Hayaks and what they accomplished here in 2018 as well. As handshakes underway, trophy presentations, we'll keep it going here on video side, but radio side, we got to get out. Appreciate you tuning in here to TSN 1040 for the Subway Bowl. For Travis Lulay, I've been Jake Elliott for the Pigskin and the Gridiron. We'll talk to you next time here from BC Place.
valuable player from Mount Douglas Rams, number 1, Gideon Gremler.